kind of in the mood for some stimulating conversation.
You are? Well, you know what? We've got a lot coming up here today. I'll tell you that. Hello, traders, friends, family, and everyone else. Welcome to Topstep TV. I got an all-star lineup today and every day. Boy, we do that a lot, don't we, John? We just
We
pack them
do.
in there. All-stars,
Yes, we do.
superstars, you name it. Well, you know what? No other show does that but Topstep TV. And, we do offer this in a one package deal: education, trading buddies, market knowledge, cool swag, and tradertainment. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies' family. Get them in here because they're missing the biggest show, financial show on the internet. This is Opening Call. He's law and I'm order. We have an informative and educational show for you today. And each day we will be your trading buddy, your trading mentor, newscaster, fellow trader, good friend, neighbor, and the guy who we know as Tim, whose Boston Bruins have their back against the wall. Yes, the Bruins of all teams. Yeah. And even that voice in your head that keeps reminding you, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. Write that down. So let's get ourselves ready for some top-notch, up-to-date market know-how. Let's say hello to our good friend, trading mentor, and that handsome gentleman next to me, John, a.k.a. the Hoagland. And the crowd goes wild. Oh, my God.
Good morning, Eddie. It's great to have you back this morning. And good morning to all of you. Yes, it is the Opening Call Wednesday, May the 15th, halfway through May already. Oh, my goodness. As always on this program, we're going to be focusing on accurate context, good risk management, and remaining patient. If I'm law and he's order, you all better act right. No criminal activity today.
That's right. All right. Well, Johnny, I got some news for everybody, and I'm sure that you do too. Gosh, the number came out, and boy, I tell you, well, earlier today we did see that the futures were a little changed, which now we did see launching of many. Some of these markets are coming back here, sellers back in the driver's seat. But the main indices had a winning session yesterday, despite the April producer price rising more than expected. Investors had to dial back their expectations of the U.S. rate cuts this year due to the inflation, the sticky inflation. They were pricing, now they're pricing 43 basis points and of easing this year, compared with 150. That's like being a bad kid at Christmas and getting half the presents. King Fed, Jerome Powell, Uncle Jerry, he emphasized the point that inflation was proving difficult to tame with a speech at the Foreign Bankers Association, which did serve salmon and rice pilaf. He did say that the inflation in the first quarter was notable for the lack of further progress. Confidence in inflation moving back down is lower than it was. And he said that my confidence on that is not as high as Eddie gets. Wait a minute. That's saying that? Wait. No, my confidence on that is not as high as it was before. Okay. So we did see that. Hey, a lot of talk about GameStop, Johnny. The so-called meme stock, GameStop. And somebody in the chat was talking about AMC like a week ago. More than a week ago. Watch AMC. Who was that? Somebody raise your hand. They have continued to rise. We did see AMC gain 32%. It was yesterday, while GameStop, my God, man, surged 60%. So it followed a series of cryptic posts on social media platform X. It was Sunday. Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, essential figure behind the 2021 stock frenzy. The post didn't mention any company names. Instead, it included clips from the movie Pirates of the Caribbean's Yar, Tombstone, V for Vendetta, and a comic of a man sitting in a chair. Cryptic, scary.
Yes.
But 60%. Damn. Johnny, what do you got for us?
Well, all right. As far as economic numbers this morning, we had the mortgages applications and rate came out. Rate came out a little bit lower than last week's. It was 7.18%, came out 7.08%. A little low on the applications, though, probably part of the reason the rate has come off a little bit. But as far as the big numbers today, the CPI numbers came out. The core month over month came out as expected. The year over year core came out as expected. The overall month over month, they were looking at 0.4%, came out 0.3%, and the year over year and the overall CPI came out as expected. So the CPI numbers not really hot. The markets did enjoy that this morning. We did see a pretty good rush to the upside here. We've got our equities, the S&P and the Nasdaq at least, trading right to and right at weekly kickoff high. This is going to be an interesting trading day. As far as retail sales are concerned, the March number was 0.7%. The April number, there's the February number was 0.7%. The March number, 0.4%. The April number, 0.0%. So retail sales slowing a little bit. New York Fed Manufacturing Index showing some kind of retraction in manufacturing in the state of New York. It was expected to come out at minus 9.9%. It came out minus 15.6%. We're still waiting for business inventories at 9 a.m. Central Chicago time this morning, and the EIA petroleum status report due out at 9:30 a.m. Central Chicago time this morning. We do have some talking Feds today. I guess about 9:05. The old Fed chair, Ben Bernanke, is going to be speaking at the Bank of England. At 11 o'clock, we do have Neil Kashkari speaking, and at about 2:20, Bowman speaking. Those are the only ones that I saw on my schedule so far, but they do have a tendency to pop up from here to there. So we'll be keeping, of course, an eye on that. As far as earnings today, nothing really major this morning. We do have Cisco after the close today, and the VIX took a little bit of a dive after the 7:30 numbers, down about 2% at 13.15. Dollar index also took a little bit of a dive down to 104.6, and the yield on the 10-year finally kind of showing some downside activity below that 4.5% level. Last I checked, at 4.36%. That's what we've got as far as economic numbers, at least known economic numbers this morning. Eddie, back to you.
Wow, Bernanke, huh? I thought they found him in the trunk on the north side of Brooklyn. It's nice that he's back. It's like these bands that have been played in 20 years and now they need money. I think that's what his case is. He's coming back and saying, "Hey, I'll talk for cash."
Yeah, Bernanke's on the Carnival tour now.
The Carnival. Dude, where's my crude? Oh man, crude here right now. Looks like buyers might be back in the game here again. Pop the top here at 78.22. We did see that trading a little higher here, and basically it's crude was 78.54. Brent climbed 0.6. Data from the API, American Petroleum Institute, indicated yesterday that U.S. oil inventory shrank 3.1 million barrels in a week to May 10th, with the data also showing a decline in gasoline stockpiles. It was confirmed by official data that this would suggest that U.S. fuel demand was picking up with the advent of the travel-heavy summer season. This is a trend that could help tighten global crude supplies. All right, that is it for our news, but we got a lot of news coming up here. I'm going to be watching the wire all day. Like John said, a lot of economic numbers. James, our good friend James. We got to get James on here so people know what he looks like. James, what's our tip of the week today, huh?
He's a good-looking guy.
He is a good-looking guy. You know what I'm talking about? Have a clear mindset. And if talking about a clear mindset, probably James has the clearest mindset of all of us. It's realistic goals, all right? Mindset. Setting clear, achievable goals can provide traders with a sense of purpose and direction. If you got big goals, and I hear a lot of these traders, my goal, I'm going to make $1,000 today. Try to break these goals down into smaller actionable steps. Maybe 250, 250, 250. Hey, I got 3 out of the 4, not too bad. Do that, and obviously celebrate along the way. I mean, once you get these accomplished, you're doing very good. So this helps maintain motivation and focus. John, what do you got?
Yeah, it's having that clear mindset. I mean, I've started to, uh, do my homework in the mornings. I get up pretty early. I sit down about 6 o'clock in the morning and start looking at what's going on, getting my head together, getting my mindset clear. But not just that, it's, I'm taking a little bit of a, 5, 10, 15 minute walk before I actually come back and sit down and get ready for the day. I feel like that really helps clear my mind, get my blood moving a little bit, and get a little exercise at the same time. So yeah, having a clear mindset can certainly help you. When you have a bad mindset, when you're angry or if you're upset about something, whether it's in trading or outside of trading, that is going to sometimes have that effect of affecting your decision making in trading. So just try and be centered. Try and have that clear mindset. Be happy, humble, grateful, creative, and centered whenever you are sitting down to trade. Mindset is everything.
Yes, yes. Good, 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 good. I see in chat here, Pete said I can't even make $5. I need my gutters cleaned, Pete. I mean, if you need to make some cash, we'll talk. We'll talk later. Hey, feature today. Topstep X feature to highlight. Topstep X has data directly, straight, no ins and no middleman, middlewoman, whoever, to the CME. And if you subscribe to that level 2 data, you'll see 300 price levels for a full view of the market. That's a lot. This is what the depth is. It updates every 50 milliseconds. Now you're saying, what the hell is a 50 millisecond? Well, 50 milliseconds, it's equal to exactly 0.05 seconds. If you want to say 5% of a second. Now, that's faster than the fat kid eating a cupcake, right? That's faster than a knife fight in a phone booth, right? 50 milliseconds. That's fast, okay? So we're going to be talking about that. I love it. I use it, love it. Gives you a good idea who's winning the tug of war. And also, hey, mark your calendars tomorrow. Don't do anything except come here on Topstep TV. We got you covered, man, woman, child. Topstep TV is thrilled to host the author of Daily Trading, the Daily Trading Coach, trading psychologist Brett Steenbarger, PhD, is going to be with us here with Anne Marie. And we're going to put a link there for questions. So mark your calendars, May 16th. That is tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. That is tomorrow. Don't miss this opportunity to up your trading game. All right.
Very excited about it.
Said, oh, yeah, man. This is like,
Big deal.
This is like Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Interviewing a Hall of Famer. All right, Johnny. Well, you know what? These charts got a lot to tell us. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to pass the mic to you. What do you got going? What do you got for our contestants today, John?
Well, as always, we start with the daily and the E-mini S&Ps. Like to go as top down as we can in the time we have here. So yesterday we did see some buyers return to this market. The upside auction did get a little bit of a boost to the upside yesterday in the fact that we increased volume and we added 21,000 in open interest. The delta was congruent with that, which indicates multiple time frames were acting in concert on that late move to the upside yesterday. The time frames involved probably not just shorter time frame laggard type traders. Instead, we did see some bigger time frame traders coming in and buying into this market. Maybe they got some news about the CPI. There's always that rumor mill going on, but I'm kind of giving the upside auction basically a C plus. The market is extended to the upside a little bit. We're going to need new buyers to come into this market, and the CPI numbers and perhaps maybe the business inventories today may boost those numbers. The market has traded basically and is hanging right at 52.96 even. That's the weekly kickoff high level. Now, remember, those weekly kickoff high levels are levels where I'm looking for longer time frame traders to adjust inventory, whether it's get out of longs, get into longs, get out of shorts, get into shorts, whatever it is. We're looking for some opportunities at these levels that we're already at here the first thing this morning. Remember the CPI. Remember, we do have business inventories. There's a lot of information to digest here. So, of course, anything can happen. Moving on to the 30-minute chart here for the S&Ps. Let's get this scaled. So we all had, some range-bound trade that occurred for the past three sessions here. This is Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, right? Yes, today is Wednesday. Well, we kind of broke out at the end of the day yesterday above this area of balance. And the fact that we did bring volume on that, the fact that we did add open interest on that encourages me to think that the market has brought in some new buying. This level we're at now, 52.96, again, is going to be somewhat important for either continuation above or failure. Remember, sometimes when we look at last week's weekly kickoff high, 52.50, it was really magnetic. Even through Friday, there were some decent opportunities off of it, but when we got up there on Friday, it was relatively magnetic. Monday, magnetic. Tuesday, magnetic. Now we're coming to a more important level of that weekly kickoff high level. Overnight inventory is probably long now. We did see some pretty decent volume on this push to the upside, and we are opening with a gap. We are also opening above a late spike. On the profile yesterday, we put in a failed auction to the downside in the S&Ps, and we put in a late spike to the upside. What does the late spike mean? Well, opening flat out above a late spike is a higher probability of acceptance of higher pricing. Doesn't mean price just has to continue to move higher. It can pull all the way back to the base of the late spike, which would be 52.60, before failing to show acceptance at higher pricing. So be careful today. The market is opening with a gap. There may be earlier opportunities that are going to be present for us. We'll be watching that for on fast markets this morning. So again, the profile, we did put in a late spike, almost a kind of a double distribution, but I'm calling it a late spike. Again, at the base of that late spike, 52.60. That's where the market broke out of the initial balance and found buyers, no balance. We're still trading out of balance. Better opportunities may come early on in this session. The NASDAQ is really, pretty much in the same position, right? The upside movement, the upside activity is proving to be see some continuation up here. We saw higher volume yesterday. We added 5,500 in open interest on a breakout of a 2-day balance area. Price has been driven now right to the weekly kickoff high. What's the high in the overnight session here? 18,547. Weekly kickoff high 18,550. So within about 3 points, 2 or 3 points is our overnight high. This is going to be an interesting trading session, ladies and gentlemen. I'm loving the idea that we have the opportunity near weekly kickoff high for some kind of an execution. Again, we're looking for continuation above it or failure above it and a move back to the downside. A lot of this depends on how the CPI numbers are going to be digested. I'm calling the breakout yesterday on the upside a B minus, where the C plus in the S&P is giving it a B minus here in the NASDAQ. Delta was again congruent yesterday, indicating multiple time frames acting in concert to the upside. Those time frames are going to be trying to protect those levels. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Scale. All right, there we go. So again, 1, 2, 3 days in balance. We broke out to the upside, leaving a late spike. Overnight inventory is now long. We've traded right to the weekly kickoff high. It kind of upsets me that we didn't have the opportunity to participate at that level during regular trading hours, but we may still have that opportunity as the day goes on. Opening with a gap rules apply. If we can't close the gap, we're looking for opportunities in the direction of the gap, which would have us looking for opportunities to the upside. We also have another late spike. The base in the late spike, 18,370. That's where the market was in balance, where it broke out of that balance and then continued to push higher without time to show acceptance through time in the regular trading hour session yesterday. Opening above that late spike is the highest probability of acceptance of higher pricing. You know, there is nothing that is going to happen exactly the same way twice in trading. ACH, anything can happen, and you will profit from it. We don't say we can profit; we will profit from it. So it's going to be an interesting trading day today. I'm gonna be very fascinated to see how traders do today. And again, the profile again yesterday, there was no failed auction to the downside in the Nasdaq, but we did have the late spike to the upside. And again, I'm looking for opportunities, possibly for longs, as long as we can hold above the base of that late spike, 18,370. If we can't close the gap, that may be telling us earlier than that the market is accepting higher pricing, and we need to be looking for possible longs. A break of that base of that late spike, 18,370. That could be enough to make some of these new longs get a little bit nervous. And when new longs get nervous, we know what happens. All right. Crude oil. This will be the last day we will be trading the June contract. Tomorrow, the July, I would expect by the end of the day today, July is going to have higher volume, but it started with higher volume in June. We're going to stick with June. Tomorrow, we'll probably be looking at the July contract. It is in rollover. Last day of trading June. Rollover range still largely intact. The rollover blur is in full swing right now. It's very difficult to read volume and open interest during rollover. Watching the current low we have here, we're still holding our head and shoulders pattern here. It's been very sticky for us to get through this area, especially during rollover. If we begin to get directional to the downside, 73 even is that weekly kickoff low from last week, which is the terminus of the measured move created by the head and shoulders pattern. Well, we've got a little bit of support here at 76.20. That's going to be kind of tough for us to get through. We're right at the bottom of the rollover balance here. If we get below that and we see some participation coming in directionally, that is something that I certainly do not want to fight. We're still holding the downside structure of the head and shoulders pattern. Take a look at the 30. Okay, so overnight inventory is short. The market did open with a gap. It closed the gap here right at 8 o'clock, but is now rejecting range and value from yesterday. I don't really want to fight this down move. I'd rather be looking for opportunities for pullbacks where I can limit risk in order to try and get into a move to the downside. That's all going to change if we get back inside value and accept 77.86 approximately is value low from yesterday. That, if we start to show some acceptance above that level, then shorts would be off. We may have a value area acceptance play if that does happen. Right now, the market is looking, pretty much like it's looking for new business to the downside, which is congruent with the bigger picture on that daily chart and the head and shoulders pattern. The profile yesterday was a normal variation day extreme with a failed upside auction. In other words, yesterday at one point the market looked above the initial balance but did not find new buyers there. Sellers came in and took over. We have settlement here at 78.02. That would put us back in value. So if we do see a gap close to settlement, a settlement gap close, that would be the first signal that, hey, maybe we're not ready to start heading lower yet. But still, right now we're down 76 ticks and looking like it's looking pretty weak here. Take a quick look at gold here, and we'll get moving on. So gold. We've been saying it's been short time frame controlled, and it is still short time frame controlled. Volume continues to drop as we maintain range bound activity here. And we only added 1,000 in open interest yesterday. Open interest in volume indicating nobody cares. Nobody cares what gold's doing right now. But that gives us an opportunity as short time frame traders, because when the market is in short time frame control, it has a tendency to respect short time frame levels. Here's an example. Let's take a look on the 30-minute chart. We talked about this a couple of days ago when we opened between the point of control up here and the point of control here. We opened on Monday inside a gap that has now been closed, a previous gap from what is this? Thursday to Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, yeah. So that's Thursday to Friday. We open inside that gap. So the tendency is to repair that gap. To repair that gap, we trade to the point of control on the downside, and we trade to the point of control on the upside. 2 days ago on Monday, we basically traded close enough to the point of control down here, short time frame level, respected. We've traded all the way back up. Took a couple of days. We finally closed that gap. We've traded now officially to the upper repair level, which is that point of control 23.7420. We did this now in regular trading hours, so the repair is now done. We should be probably looking for this market to look for new levels to facilitate trade. We've got to get above last week's high to do that, to get us up to 2400, 2410 weekly kickoff high. We need to kind of break down below this week's low, if you will, which is in essence this point of control here, to look for points lower. But when you are in short time frame control, these short time frame levels do have a tendency to be respected. Look at the high so far today. After the 730 number, it traded right to last week's high and then started coming off. Short time frame levels can be respected. Now, the difficult part of that is there's a lot of short time frame levels that might or might not be respected. So you can get chopped up a little bit in this, or you can kind of pick the right levels, be patient, wait for the levels to come to you, wait for some sort of structure against those levels, and then execute your trades against those levels. Ladies and gentlemen, take your deep breath. So important. Yeah. Stay humble, grateful, creative, and centered in your trading today. And looking forward to having a interesting, fun, and profitable trading day for everybody.
All right. Coming up next, Andre, Hoag, Deeyana, and Maureen. I'd like to say happy birthday to Hex Sarah, a very good friend here and a very important person here at Topstep. Happy birthday, Hex Sarah. Happy Sweet 16. All right. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Fast Markets. Don't go away. Fade out. Gotta fade. All right, let's get your fat kid who likes cupcakes in the gates. We are just about ready to open. And good morning, folks. Andre, off. Back to you. No,
back to me is right. This bell's about to ring any second here. Welcome, everybody, to Topstep TV. This is Fast Markets. We got Anne-Marie in the lower right corner. We got Deeyana in the lower left corner. As you all know, we got Hoag. Hoag, the bell has just rang. Trade 18,500.
There it is.
18,500 in the NASDAQ. John, talk us through this opening range.
18,550 is weekly kickoff high in the NASDAQ. 52.96 even is weekly kickoff high in the S&Ps. I think we're looking at maybe some decent opportunities at those levels if we can get back to them. We're about 50 points off. Opening range is still in play here. Some people look at a 1 minute, some people look at a 3 minute, some people look at a 5 minute. I kind of look at the 1 minute opening range because if you got to get something done right away, that's a minute in electronic trading is a lifetime. So we got a 25 point opening range so far in the NASDAQ. We got a 2.5, just over almost a 3 point, now a 3 point opening range in the S&Ps. Delta is, pretty much close to the bone here. We're just opening up. The S&P just broke above the opening range, and just looking above that weekly kickoff high here. If we see some participation above that level, those weekly kickoff levels are areas I'm looking for longer time frame traders to adjust inventory. So this might be an interesting spot right here.
Yes, it is.
You think to go long as an acceptance zone?
Well, right now the opening range is the low of the session in the S&Ps. It's still inside the opening range in the NASDAQ. The Dow, let's take a quick look. The Dow is trading above the opening range. So, with that weekly kickoff at 96 and the opening range, the low of the session in the S&Ps, it is a low-risk opportunity. We get down to about...
And Marie, do you have any gamma levels of interest anywhere?
I do. We've got a few gamma levels to look at. That 18,550 area in the NQ. So there's confluence there. We've got 5306 and 5301 as gamma levels of interest right now, and then above that is 5324. The levels that are holding the floors are 5265 and 5261, which also works out from old support, new resistance. Do you want the ones for oil?
Sure.
Or are you not trading oil today?
Yeah. I'm looking at it, but I might be using RBOB to enter.
Gotcha.
However, I can use crude oil as my orientation points.
Okay, so I can't pull those up right now. They're not loading for some strange reason. Well, I'll bring those to you in a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of rollover.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Probably, yeah, because I can see RBOB is rolled to July now, so I've just changed the chart.
Oh, yeah,
so
here they are.
Yeah?
We have 76.90 and then no lines in the sand until 75. That's my thought about where this target goes, but it just lost 77.47, which is a line that it's recovered off of several times before. So it might give us a quick snap bounce. I am looking for it. Here's my chart right here. I've got this box that I'm staring down with this floor that ought to hold off the dip. So I actually am going to position a micro down there and see if it opens up.
Okay.
So I'm not sharing the screen today. Keep in mind, we do have the house account open. We've got the keys to the Ferrari right now. And the levels that I've catching is 18,550 in the NASDAQ. Perhaps a short up there. I'm sure we're not the only ones thinking about that. John, that is weekly kickoff high, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right, and Anne-Marie had that pegged as a level as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as we approach the 550s. We give it a test. Or would we like to take, would that be considered a cheap short, or do we have to see how it plays out around that level?
Yeah, maybe we trade into it. What do you think? Since the daily, the opening range low is the floor currently, or do you feel like there's too much congestion?
Well, That's unfortunately that is not
In
up for
Nasdaq,
me.
I have 185.70 as the average daily range high. So ideally, I wouldn't like to do anything until we reach that.
Yeah.
What's that price again? I'm sorry, say that again.
185.70. Yeah,
570. Okay, 570, even a little bit
570.
higher. Okay, cool. Okay, that's a
And
triple check mark then.
in ES, I have an average daily range high there at 53.06, which is one of your gamma levels, Anne-Marie. So that might be an interesting confluence to watch out for as well.
For sure.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on
That
that. But yes, I
is-
know what you're saying. Trading into that, Anne-Marie. You're saying trading into that means as opposed you're getting long into that.
Getting to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. For the
yeah,
quick
as we get
snap
into that.
trade, because it's outside of that opening range.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
what
to the
I
upside.
love about John's opening range setup is if it runs with trend in the level of the breakout, and we see that the opening range low holds tight, then the break of the range triggers the trade to the upside with really limited risk. So
Yep.
this is
Yeah.
my thought.
In the opening range in the S&P is 95.5 to 92.25. So, you're risking 5 points if you take that long right above it. And,
Which is
right now we're
nice.
already up 5 points if we were in it. And I love the fact that it did kind of spanned weekly kickoff high of 52.96.
Yes, it did.
So now we're kind of holding above that. If we do see, legs to the upside here in the S&Ps, I would think twice about shorting that 18,550 level in the Nasdaq.
Yeah.
Say that again. If we watch the S&Ps take off to the upside,
Yes.
be hesitant with the okay. All right.
Yeah,
Right.
because there's a number right over 600 that the NAS could just bolt into, like we know it can.
Okay.
Yeah,
No trade then.
There's a naked point of control up there at 18,656.25.
Jeez, these levels keep going higher and higher. We went from 550 to 570. Now we're up in the sixes. It's okay. It's okay. I like this thought. I hope everyone's appreciating. Yeah, I'm really liking this thought process going on. We are trading right to those 18,500s here in the NASDAQ on the nose. Not as much selling in the ES.
That 730 bar traded, within 2 points of that weekly kickoff high and just, has been struggling to hold up there the entire session so far.
We also had the VWAP in the NAS somewhere around 18,470 and some change, and then the VWAP in the ES at around 5284 ish, something like that. And so the bounce off the VWAP might be pretty nice. Side note, gold just bounced off of its VWAP action.
Yeah.
Nick for a tick in the chat. Passive seller in the 520s is for real, folks. Yeah, sounds like
passive seller in the 520s. Yeah, for now, sure. I definitely see that. So should we look for something in the dome that takes that gets fat up there, that gives us the idea liquidity might move into that zone? What do we think about that?
Johnny, Deeyana, please. You got the VWAP in ES NASDAQ at 18,470. We never got there. S&P's 5284. Anne-Marie, what are you thinking?
Okay, so what I did was I'm looking at a 5,000 tick level, and I'm thinking to myself that we're fairly range bound. So from a 5,000 tick, I just took along it.
Okay.
What is it? 18,496. So I'm going to trade it into Nick's number because I think it's real at the 520, and just clip it at the end of the road there. If I had more size, I would say, all right, let's see if it continues to the upside. But my suspicion is if we break, everybody that's short is going to absolutely run for the hills. And so that I see a lot of upside pressure
Okay, wow.
potentially rearing its head in the near term.
All right, so let's visit it. Go ahead.
It did look a couple of ticks below the opening range. NASDAQ did. Dow and the S&P is no. S&P's held the opening range as the low.
Yeah, S&P looks more bullish to me than NQ at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the 95s would be the trade of the day, John. 52.95. So it's just going to take off. I'll be damned.
Yeah. If this hold on, let me drag over the ES chart over here. So if the candle that we're seeing now on a 30-minute chart holds, then we're going to have a little rally-based rally sort of demand area at 52.96 roughly.
Mm-hmm. We are going.
That would match that idea.
Into those 520s here in the NASDAQ.
I'm going to flatten into those 20s.
Nice trade, Anne-Marie.
Nice trade.
Sniper.
Yeah.
Sniper. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So we did have CPI coming out earlier today. We had retail sales coming out earlier today. I don't know what's on the rest of the schedule for the day. My man Eddie does. Eddie, good to have you back today. Missed you yesterday. Great hearing your voice. What do we got on the calendar for today?
On the calendar, coming up in about 18 minutes, we do have our business inventories. Fed Vice Chair Supervision, Roseanne Barr is going to be speaking. Also, we got our house market index, retail inventories, and that's going to be in about 18 minutes. In a little under an hour, we got our crude oil inventories. Prior was negative 1.362. They're looking at negative 400,000. We do have our distillates and crude imports coming in at 10 o'clock. We've got Cleveland CPI and 11 o'clock Atlanta Fed GDP. Cash and carry will be around here about 11. And later on in the afternoon, Bowman, FOMC member Bowman speaking here. And I will keep an eye on the prize. Back to you, Andre.
Thanks, Eddie. We're digging deep when we're looking at Atlanta GDP or whatever that was. We're digging real deep. Cleveland, my bad. Atlanta, Cleveland. All this. All right. Shout out to Cleveland. Yeah. Shout out to Atlanta.
No, not that Cleveland. The city of Cleveland.
So just one thing on ES, we had the CPI high, which is incidentally the London high, at 53.03. So so if we are unable to go close above that, that wouldn't be great for the longs. So I really want to see that go, and I want to see some participation above there. So for now, I think I'm just going to wait and see what happens around there and then make my decision, because like I said, I have that 53.06 level in ES and then that CPI high. So it's a decision point. So that they need to make a decision what they're going to do there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Traded one tick over the overnight high.
Well, threes?
Yeah. Traded up
I mean, sometimes they trade through it. And then it fails. So I like to look at how the 30-minute chart actually closes around there. And if it closes below it, it's 100%. Usually a sign that they couldn't keep it above. Yeah, so I just use it as a OODA loop orientation point.
OODA loop. I'm going to name my next dog OODA loop.
A lot of syllables. But yes.
Come on, OODA.
Maybe just OODA.
OODA works.
Maybe just
OODA. OODA, come here. All right, we're back to these 18,500s in the NAS. Anne-Marie did snipe it at 496. Got out at what, around the 20s? Nice little winning trade to start the day. We will see these 18,500s trade often today. So, DNA. All right, we're starting to see 52.97s trading here in the ES. Like we were selling off here, folks.
Right back to 96 here.
Right back to 96.
Maybe the VWAP is next.
Wasn't even able to get to it.
We got VWAP and ES at 84s and the NASDAQ 470s. We like a long off VWAP.
Yeah, I think so. It's got solid upward formations. When momentum is red, like we can see here, just using MACD, just doing something super simple. When momentum is red, what it tells me is look for the deeper wicks to go long. And so that's why I'm thinking, hey, listen, maybe we come into the VWAP and bounce. But the chart is really starting to develop a little bit more negative pressure than I would imagine to see at the first pass. I want to see what these guys do at 520 again, because that is certainly that zone that they've been coming in. It'd be nice to take a look at the dome to see if they are crowding up there or trying to force price down. This is where we could use Michael's skill, where he can stare at it and go, okay, they're doing this, which I can't.
Well, you might just get your wish, Anne-Marie. We'll stay tuned today in Fast Markets. You might just get your wish there. We'll see if we get the appearance from the boss himself as he is back in the United States safely. But yes, okay. All right, well, so we're in a holding pattern then, right? Do I understand we're selling off in the NASDAQ right now? Are we going to see how we react around the 470 level then in NASDAQ, or how do we want to play this? Or just
I think so. I think so. There seems to be the gap in the pre-market action. It filled pre-market, but 18,462, just under that VWAP. It could push a little deep there before bouncing. So there's, what I'm hearing from all of us is exactly the same thing. The trade action is potentially there. The risk is elevated. And that's why we're looking at things and throwing these ideas back and forth, because each of us is seeing elevated risk, though there appears to be a trade. It's, is the juice worth the squeeze? There we go.
Absolutely. Why, Anne-Marie, explain to the audience why we're seeing elevated risk in the market so far in this about 18 minutes into the day.
So if I listen to Dee, she talks about those key levels below that show price acceptance from times past. And that is also what John is converging on at the same time. And whenever we see those areas between where we could get involved and where we are focusing on best risk to reward assessments, that gives us that elevated risk space. So we don't want to risk 10 to make 2, right? We can do that maybe in an options environment with more stuff going on, but we wouldn't want to do it in a future space. So each of us has these spaces that goes, hey, let's have a look at what's going on. And so what we've done is we've lost the opening range by a tick in the NAS. We haven't done that in the ES. And so it's still holding, but we're also bounded from above because there's no auctioning up there. No. And so plus Nick said, hey, listen, we got a real seller at 520. There are a lot of things that we can go, oh, okay, well, I better wait. And that's, that's always the toughest part, just the waiting.
Yeah, I always say that when there is a trade, it generally becomes pretty obvious at some point. Right now, nothing is really obvious to me.
Fair enough.
This is why I'm in favor of a little bit more information, because, we might as well have a fade from the CPI as well and just smack right back down to the value.
For sure.
That's also a real possibility. So
here's your
Got the
70s.
low of the opening range, and the S&P is
not
in the down.
We are in the 60s now here in the NASDAQ. Someone's into the 50s.
There's VWAP in the NASDAQ.
Yes, it is. And Reed, did you
Yeah.
take that long?
That was me
Yeah, did you take
in
the
that
long?
execution that you just heard. Yeah.
Nice. From what price, Anne Marie? So we can update the board. When you have a chance.
464.
464. Thank you. Take a look at tilt here. 72%
Crude oil has been a bit
short.
more bouncy. Crude oil has been a bit more
Yeah, I'm
bouncy
watching.
today.
Yeah, I'm watching her
It's
on there, too.
ignoring the average daily range low. It went below it, and that can mean a single direction day. The initial balance that we have right now is pretty sizable compared to what we've had over the last sort of several days, which might open up a possibility for a failed auction long at some point. But for now, I'm just watching it, and I'm going to wait until things establish the initial balance, and then maybe if we get a setup there, I might take it. At the same time, our barb is opening inside value, but it's trying to go below value. Now, if it's an inside day, and if I pair that idea with a potential failed auction long in crude oil, there could be like a responsive long to bring that price back to value. So that's what I'll be looking at in energy markets today. Because whenever we have a sizable initial balance, that very rarely brings further selling into the picture. It takes a lot more energy to kind of keep going in the same direction. So we'll see whether that hypo can help us. And then if it gets ignored, something that I like to do is to wait until the price maybe either establishes single prints, directional single prints to the downside, confirming the strong momentum move down, or to wait until we migrate back into the initial balance and then maybe find like a supply on a lower time frame that we can bounce it off of. I call that the weakness inside initial balance setup. Weeb.
So what numbers are those?
Well, for now, I'm just waiting for the market to give me more information. Right now, the only supply that I can confidently see is up at overnight VWAP on crude oil, which is at 77.68. And I'm looking at the June contract. So I don't really see anything just yet. This is why I'm saying I want to wait until the initial balance gets established, and then I might have another orientation point to play off of. But for now, it's not very clear, and there's nothing. It's just dropping. So that always increases the risk.
Anne-Marie, are you still in the trade?
I am.
Yes,
but it's at a do or die. It's really at a do or die.
Come on, do it then. Don't die. Let's do it. My God. My goodness. Ooh, that got sketchy for a second. There we go. Let's turn this around. And NASDAQ, that follows those sellers mean business. They follow through.
Yep.
Gold testing back to the settlement gap.
Must be the dollar moving around a fair bit.
Last week's high to prove to be too expensive for the short time frame control it is in.
Okay, say that for us again, John. Last week's high too expensive.
For the short time frame control.
So you're looking at the topping for yes. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I've been saying that, for 2-3 weeks now, the Google Gold has really been in a short time frame controlled market. I don't think anybody in longer time frame actually cares because we're not seeing volume. Volume has just been dropping. Open interest has been inert for the last 2-3 weeks. Nobody really seems to care what gold is doing right now. So, we talked about it on the opening call where short time frame controlled markets, adhere to short time frame control levels. We talked about the repair that we were expecting early this week. We traded down to this point of control. Now we've traded to this point of control. We traded to last week's high. Nobody was willing to take that next step higher because they were already long, and boom. So we're just seeing short time frame control levels being respected. The problem with that is in short time frame, there's a lot of different levels that people are going to be focusing on. It's difficult to pick the right one.
No doubt.
Indeed. Yes, it's taking the overnight VWAP now.
Yep.
A little bit of a reaction there. Let's see if that's sustained.
Watching these NASDAQ trade, these 18,469. Let's see if we can push into the 70s. We just saw 70s get tagged right there. There we go.
And Marie, you're still in it, right?
I am.
Good job.
Boy, S&P just traded right to VWAP.
Yes, it did. We're still there, right?
Minutes remaining.
Yep. Dancing around it. Oh, wait. What's coming?
We've
5
got
minutes remaining to what?
Eddie. What do we got here in 5?
Actually, in 9 minutes. My bad on that one. Business inventories, bar speaking, housing market, retail, and the balance, the budget balance. In 9 minutes.
Yeah, we got to get up over this VWAP or the goose is cooked right here for this trade. Cooked.
10-year
goose.
Treasury yields are at 5-week lows right now after this and after that CPI number today.
Sure is 4.37%. John, thank you for that's bullish.
Interesting.
Let me check that in about 3 minutes. That was 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we are correct.
All right, here we go. To flatten or not to flatten? That is the question. The existential question.
Should we flip a coin?
Hardest part of a trade.
Well, with a relatively flat VWAP over the last, 20,000 ticks or so, you might say a coin toss would be just as good as any other decision. So I did take the long in crude, still just dancing around there.
Ooh.
But yeah. So what I want to see it move enough so I can make a couple of bucks and then get out before the number, because I don't want to be in when the number is going. The question about why the entry at the 462 level, the answer to that is the gap that opened in the trading space
You showed on your charts.
Ticks.
There you go. Please show them on the charts, Anne-Marie.
This area right here gave us a very thin auctioning event. We might call it a low volume node, but I don't quite know if it actually was a low volume node. From a candlestick perspective, it looks like that's exactly what it could have been. And so I expected it to gravitate into that zone, fill the gap, and then bring new buyers in. What it actually did was go directly to the base of this wick. So it broke through that low, and this wick held the floor right down here. So I find that to be fairly interesting that it did that. And so a lot of buyers came in on that wick. So I am anticipating that price action ought to move to the north off of that, because they literally didn't spend any time there. They came in and everybody hit the bid. And so my thought is, hey, if everybody hit the bid there, then it's either all those shorts covering because they realize that we might be range bound, or some value buyers slipping into the day, which begs the question, what's the delta?
Well done there, Anne-Marie.
Okay.
Well
this
done.
is interesting. Delta in the NASDAQ is negative 2,000. Congruent with direction.
Negative 2K.
S&P's positive
10
3,000.
seconds.
What? Okay.
They're going this way.
Yeah, we are. We are, John. Jeez.
Interesting. I'm getting out of that.
Anne-Marie, still in there?
Yeah, I'm still in.
We've got our business inventories coming in as expected, negative 0.1%. Housing coming at 45, lower than the 50 that was forecasted And that's what we have right now. Coming up here very shortly, Bernanke going to be speaking on the Bank of England. Don't forget crude oil inventories, crude traders, in a half an hour. Back to you, Andre.
Thank you, Bernanke. Haven't heard that name in a minute.
I know. All right, so now
Anne-Marie,
I'm worried
talk
about
to
the
us, Anne-Marie.
500.
Talk
I'm
to
worried
us.
about the 500 holding. I'm not worried. I'm concerned to see if the 500 will hold. I'm glad I got out of oil right there.
Oh,
So
man.
that was fine. I'm thinking about re-entering, but it's so, I don't know.
Wow, what
So
a trade.
I'm going to get out at the 500 because
Not bad.
I'm a wimp. And so if you want to hang on to this, though, we've got some pretty good price action off of that. You know, it hit the bid so fast on that V that it might have some room up there. You know, suffice to say, I'm flat.
Yeah, 40-point winner, not bad. Got Harry there for a second. Well done, Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
Well done.
Nice. I was going to say 509 was the opening price, so you got pretty dang close to it.
Did it almost come into that? Wait a second.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, 506 and 506, something like that. Yeah. So now we're in this little bit of a slosh, right? If you're a pure technical trader and you're saying to yourself, all right, I don't want to get whipped around, but I want to trade in a cycle of price action. When a gap fills like that and they come in, and if you look on my chart, you're going to see it pops up off of that edge and then they sit in this patch. And what they're doing right here in this patch is, no, you go. No, you go.
You go.
No, you go. And then somebody goes, that's fine, I'm going. And it breaks through that edge, recaptures the VWAP. Then you go, hey, if I took the risk where they started fighting, going, no, you go. No, you go. My floor is established for my support, 445. And now, as I hold the 460s, all I have to do is go, as long as these traders continue to move to the north and make higher highs and higher lows, I'm sitting in the game. So not wimpy me would have said, all right, I'm going to trim back just a little bit and I'm going to stay long here. But I don't know if you can see this little blue line. This is the anchored VWAP of the formation that we were looking at right here on the break. And so the question might be, well, why you want to do that? And my suspicion is that that move created the breakaway space where everybody began to get involved. And that run up tells me, okay, where are the guys and gals that went long here? What's their average? And are they going to try and push it? And you can see them trying to get back into positive momentum where, you know, I think maybe we ride all the way back up to that 520.
Wow.
Daggone it. I'm such a stinking wimp.
Anne-Marie.
I know.
It was do or die, and damn it, it did.
Yes.
You did it.
And I want to have I want to have Rip's guts. You know what I mean? He just sticks to it. I want to have those guts. But just, you know, everybody's on the journey, growing in there, you know, yes, and that's me. I just have to continue to get comfortable realizing that if trend and momentum are saying sit in the trade, then my fear of the unknown needs to go, hey, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
We all deal with that, though. I mean, you know, we don't know what's going to happen.
I mean,
It's
we also
true.
did dip into we dipped into the 40s there for a hot second as well.
Yes.
So it was getting and then the number came
Yeah.
out, and then the number was coming out, and then we got Bernanke. So
Yeah. I
hey,
was a little
nice
nervous.
trade. Nice trade.
All right, I'm trying a little long at RBOB because crude oil is still holding the initial bounce low, but RBOB could have dipped slightly below it. So I went in at 44.77. Just a one lot.
How much is the tick? How much is a tick worth in RBOB?
$4.20, $4.20.
Okay, cool. All right.
I think they did
And
that on purpose.
that is such a 420. All right. I'm not so hip. Takes me a minute.
Someone has a good humor.
We're pushing. We're pushing.
Look at this.
Smoke weed every day.
There it is, Eddie. There it is. 69% long NQ, 57% long ES. Damn, nice trade, Emery.
You know what's very
Yeah, just to that
interesting?
20
And I
level.
was going to say it, but I got caught and sidetracked, looked at something else. The NAS tilt was down at 70% when we were hanging around that gap and it started moving sideways. That's why I went, you know what? Just chill out. It's going to happen. Now we're looking at the same thing here. We were just at 69% in the NAS and immediately it's come off that edge just a little bit. Did it go into the 520? No, not yet.
Got right there.
Close.
16.
17.
Yeah. Man, that runaway train yesterday afternoon in
The rally? What was
Yeah.
that?
oh my gosh.
What the hell was short squeeze? Amory, I kept seeing you in the chat saying the shorts are getting squeezed. The shorts are getting squeezed.
Yeah, they absolutely were because everybody took the PPI at face value and hammered themselves into their short positions. And then the analysts started digging through it and they went, well, a bunch of the PPI number came from, all the higher percentages of, not percentages, but gross amounts that people were paying on their investment accounts because the market was continuing to climb. And they stripped that out, and then they stripped something else out and stripped something else out. And all of a sudden they went, oh my gosh, this number's actually weak. And the prior month got revised down. And so everybody went, interest rate fade on the horizon. Let's jam it in there. And then everybody started running for the hills that were short. And they kept shorting the higher levels. And so it just kept, and I got to tell you, I hate to say it, but I was one of those that was trying to short these higher levels. After a while, I'm like, you're wrong and get out of there. And so, that's exactly what happened. It takes me, I wish I could take a couple of trades and go, yeah, you're wrong. But man, I get an idea in my head and I'm like a bulldog with a bone. I just cannot. Golly, I cannot get out of it. I'm like,
cannot let it go.
Fix it. I know. How much information do you need, Missy? So I have to.
I have it in one of my objectives to make sure that I am following whatever is objectively happening with the profiles and orientation points. Because I caught myself a couple of times not acting on the failed auctions, which are my primary setups. But I'll be like, it's a mean reversion trade. And then I'm looking for a return to value. And it's like clearly failing the auction. I'm like, nope, I'm staying in. It's like, what are you doing? Get out.
Yeah. I know. I do the same thing.
The S&P's back above weekly kickoff high, 52.96.
Yep.
Looks like the NASDAQ may be headed for a test of it.
Yeah.
VWAP, if you did the VWAP play in ES, you took far less heat than Anne-Marie had to take on that. As ES does move, well, not move as much, is violently, is volatile. But the VWAP play held, especially ES. NASDAQ was a little hairy, but hey, we're able to capture those profits. Good job. Starting to see sellers coming here. Interesting, this 520 level, Anne-Marie. What are we seeing here at 18,520? We saw this morning. We saw rejection this morning, about 30 minutes ago. We're starting to see that same scenario play out right now. Why is this a level of significance?
For me, I don't know what Nick might say because he likes that number as well. For me, I was simply looking at prior congestion, right? I'm just looking at prior congestion. I'm saying, all right, well, there are no bids up there, so obviously I'm going to try myself short. And if the bids come in, I'm just going to get out of Dodge, right? And if it turns out that it rotates over, oh, well, that happens in trading, right? You just have to make that commitment that goes, all right, here's what's going on. The reason I would be somewhat uncomfortable taking anything more than just a light fade. So let's say I took 517 short and I'm looking at that number. My thought is, 500 to 490s are very likely to hold. And I've got to get out because I can see this anchored VWAP of everybody who ran into the trade and held. And so that's giving me this idea of there are a lot of people that are feeling pretty good about being long right now because we're sitting above the regular VWAP and this anchored VWAP also. So, seeing the dome, I wonder let's see if we can see anything on that.
I'm gonna take profits on this because obviously we have the inventories and I don't want to be going into it and it gets a little bit jumpy around it. So I just took $235 on this little trade.
Nice,
D.
Good job, D.
Our Robert's been good to you today.
Yeah, I'm slowly building up a new XFA account. So did a little bit of trading earlier as well. So I'm up almost 500 on the day, just kind of taking it slow.
Very nice.
Yeah, I tried to do bigger size on one of the other XFAs, and it just didn't work. So I'm like, nah, okay, back to one lot. Because I freak out when there's like only 4.5. So I'm used to like trading pretty big accounts. So it's like when I'm seeing only 4.5 grand, I'm like, oh God, yeah. So then I start doing stupid things. So I don't really have that objectivity. And if I size down appropriately to effectively have about maybe 1/10 of whatever the maximum loss limit is, that is comfortable for me. Just in like risk wise, anything over that, and I'm like, oh God, I'm risking 10% or 25. So yeah, I don't want to do that until there's like a little bit more buffer. So I'm just slowly building up a little bit of profits in this one.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
And
back to these 500s.
it's amazing how hard it is to go slow and steady, simply because when things start heating up, it's so easy to slip out of that mechanic and go, hey, I'm doing well. I'm gonna resist certain things. I'm gonna increase my exactly.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and increase my risk. Come on.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it's just a killer. It's amazing how much of a head game trading actually is.
And
It's a
most of the
total
time,
head
the answer to any kind of problem passing combines and maintaining XFAs is size down. That's like the only thing you need to do.
For sure.
All right. While we're waiting here, might be a good time to hit the news. Andre, are you ready? Prepared?
I am ready. I'm ready. He teased it in Slack, so I'm dying to see what this is about.
Well, everyone submitted some interesting stories today, but first, what might be, as Callum says, the most iconic stock market chart of all time. Look at the amount since the pandemic that retail investors have jumped into the U.S. markets. That is a huge change. It's increased to its highest levels recently, so it's a whole new game out there. Really amazing what the whole COVID thing did. But now to get to more exciting medical stuff.
That's interesting.
Maybe this is why we have all this retail money jumping in. Cheating on workplace drug tests has hit a new record Most importantly, substituted urine samples have increased sixfold since 2023.
Hello.
We have a chart about this next here. For those of you that don't know what a substituted urine test is, you sweet summer child. But out of
you sweet
sweet indeed. I believe it is the case that something like 5 million people last year, maybe the same over and over again, submitted an either invalid, i.e. using them supplements and drinking that water, or really went for it with the substitution, carrying a Ziploc under their armpit. Actually, I don't know about you guys, the only job I've ever been drug tested for was here at Topstep, if you can believe it.
Same.
I was hoping an MP would be on here so I could grill him about that, because, you know.
So
seems
I
strange.
have something funny. I have something funny to tell you. So I have
What's
a
up?
life insurance. I have a life insurance policy that's
This is going to
fairly
be good. Go on.
very sizable.
Let's
And
hear
so
this.
when they came to the house, they said, "Hey, you know, we're gonna have to take some blood. We're gonna have to da 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 da." Right? They go through the whole thing, and I go, "Sure, fine." And I got the results back, and they had a screen for every single illicit drug that somebody would have. They had me in their screen for all of it. And I was like, what? I had no idea they would do that for a life insurance policy.
Yep.
But that was pretty, it was like, I was very happy to have put up the pipe a
Yeah.
couple of weeks before that.
I mean, you see
Choking.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wish you weren't.
Well, like I was saying in the chat, let it be known that I passed that Topstep test, even though they sprung it on me one day after I got back from a wedding in Mexico.
Uh-oh.
Good for you, buddy. Good on you.
Jack, good job.
And we do have one more brief news story here that someone that you guys have heard about that portal they built between Dublin and New York.
I heard about this.
What?
Someone, they built this portal so people could look live from New York to London. It was supposed to be a fun little, nice part of the human experience. And then Instagram
Is that
influencers.
girl lifting up her shirt?
Yep, she is flashing the Irish. Let it be known that this photo that was shared, I have seen on Reddit much worse things that were shared through that portal.
Jesus.
So, as Dolby says,
goodness.
R.I.P. the portal. This is why we can't have nice things.
So they took it down? Of course.
I think it's
down.
it's either I'll look
still
into
up.
that.
Yeah, it's still up. They've just disconnected the cameras as they look for more safeguards to fix it.
What, James? Oh, okay, yeah. This is why we can't have nice stuff. Exactly.
Look at this
Well,
pop up over.
Yep.
Pop it up.
Did we move those? Did we move the sellers out of the way?
I bought pee for a drug test once. My
Really?
blood was clean, but I found out I was pregnant.
No, come on. Come on. Oh,
Well, now, now they have those things that measure the body temperature so well that even if you've got a bag under your armpit,
they
it's going to
gotta keep
go,
it.
so sorry. Yeah.
Huh.
That's,
I've never had a drug test. As a matter of fact, on the trading floor, the drug testing policy was you bring in your drugs and we'll test them.
Yeah.
too bad that's true.
As a musician and trader, no one cared. In fact, you
No.
were offered stuff. Yeah.
You are on a roll, brother. Keep it
Yes,
going.
he is. Yes, he is. Wow, you bring your trucks and we test them. Oh,
Hilarious.
the old days, Hoop.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say which company it was, but there was the head of the company that I worked for, and it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and he comes up to my desk because I always have Post-it notes, and he comes up to my desk and he goes, "Hey, can I have like a couple of Post-it notes?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I turn around and I look at him, and his nose is like white.
Oh.
I was like, dude, you might want to like sort yourself out. And he's like, oh no,
Take a look at the mirror.
really? Like, yeah.
Then he was gonna
11
write some-
o'clock in the morning. It's like, I know it was like sort of his company and stuff, but Jesus, man. It was a Tuesday as well, like a stupid
Wow.
day to be doing things like that.
just a casual Tuesday in the trading world.
Yeah.
The air was
Yeah.
perfect for partying, so what the hell? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bit of a party boy. So yeah, it's quite funny.
It's the way you know you make too much damn money.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
He was also very
right?
excitable. We would be, sitting down trying to trade. Wasn't the biggest floor. It was like maybe about 16 of us. And suddenly he's like, "You're at new highs." And we're like, "See?"
Yes, but what about the market?
Yes. Anne Marie. You guys are fired today. You guys are on fire.
That's a good one.
Hey, D, real quick. Some people in the chat were looking at
Yeah.
the RBOB dome, the ladder in the RBOB, and we're complaining that it's
Yeah.
acting weird, it's acting jumpy. Would you mind touching on that real
It
quick?
is
It's a thin
jumpy.
market. It is
Yeah.
jumpy. It's a thin and
It's a
jumpy market,
thin
right?
market, man. Yeah, it's very gappy, right? So if I let me go to Topstep X for a second. Now something's happening on Topstep with a tick chart on RBOB. I don't know why, but yeah. So just ignore this. I mean, I've been trying to kind of see whether there's a time frame where the data is behaving a bit better, but it's all a bit weird and jumpy. So maybe someone from support can have a look at that. But yeah, so the RBOB is very gappy, right? So whenever you have a market that is very, very thin, you will get these gaps. And I find that tape is not that useful for these sort of markets. You're better off kind of focusing on price alone because there's not much happening. If I drag out the book map, like, yeah, you can kind of see some orders, but unless you go like super granular, it's not really going to tell you all that much. And if you kind of start zooming out, yeah, you can see there's some levels of interest up here, but it's not as clean as, for example, ES. Like ES, you
Right.
clearly see some stacked orders here. You can see stuff a lot better. So I find that the tape it's not that useful for those types of markets. And if you are in a live account, obviously be a bit careful executing an RBOB because you have to be a little bit aware where you're entering. So if you, for example, if you want to enter, like let's say right at 45.78, well, it's not going to fill you there. It's going to go up to the next price where there's like stuff happening, right? Where you
There's an
have
order,
one or three contracts. Yeah. So there's some awareness about thin markets is where it comes. And actually, every time I'm about to execute an order, I typically like to check whether there are any orders there. And then if I see like a few of them stacked up like this, that's okay. So you can go in. But if you see gappy areas like this one, you might want to wait until we get up to, let's say, 46. So that's how I would use the dome to kind of help me just source out that liquidity around the current levels on these thin markets. It's definitely another sort of another thing to think about. So if you're a more novice trader, just stick with the sim and try practicing. And then when the time comes, you'll have to deal with these sort of things. But while you're in a sim environment, I mean, it's just going to fill you wherever. So it's not really that important. But in the live market, it's definitely important to time those entries where a slightly bigger liquidity pool is.
Right.
I think the Nikkei is just like that also.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah, very, very thin market and behaves exactly the same way. So, yeah. It's probably why traders who focus on those markets prefer price action over tape because you can see things a little bit clearer rather than, one order and then nothing, tumbleweed, another order, tumbleweed. It's like, what?
Tumbleweed. That's pretty good. We are pushing into the 540s here in the NASDAQ. We haven't hit those 50s yet. That we did have that.
Never
number
heard that
circled
before.
Here.
Tumbleweeds, but it's so true.
Deeyana, when's the last time you've seen a tumbleweed, Deeyana? They got tumbleweeds out there?
They do out in the countryside.
Okay.
I think I saw a few when I was taking my dogs to a field because I like to rent a private field, and then when you take all of them, they can then scream and be crazy as much as they want, and they're not bothering anyone. And there was some tumbleweeds because you're surrounded by fields and there's not much there. And yeah, so there was some there, and there's a lot of wind out in the countryside as well.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
Tumbleweeds.
That's one.
All right,
That's
we got some oil numbers here at the bottom of the hour in about 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes remaining.
There it is. Thank you, Eddie. We are in sync today. Very good. JD is here with some hot streaks. Mr. Croissant himself. Also, shout out to JD. That was he did an awesome job with Dr. Ginny yesterday. Please go back and watch that. Super, super informative. It was just deep and make you think. I got all my notes here in my journal that I'm writing down. Going back and watching it again tonight. But shout out to JD. That was an awesome, awesome segment. If you missed it, go back and catch it yesterday. It was at the noon hour Central Time. JD, we got those hot streaks, Mr. Croissant.
Checking in.
There he is.
Clean and sober, bright-eyed, bushy tailed today.
Wow.
With a belly full of croissants. A lot of drug talk going on here. And yes, I think Jack and I were the only two that were drug tested before we started our jobs at Topstep. It doesn't sound like anybody else.
Oh, you are? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to
They
ask
both came
MP
to the
about
interview
that.
naked. That's why.
No Wizinator. All right, JD, what do we got here with these hot streaks?
All right, James, can we pull up those hot streaks, please? There they are. Brian, still at the top. Brian pocketed about $5 yesterday to extend a streak to 28 days.
Hey.
You know what they say about $5, right?
What do they say about what do they say?
$5 is $5, guys. All right.
Oh,
Daniel, Jacob, and Roberto all held on to their streaks for another day. And Russell's new to the list. Russell took Earl C's place yesterday because Earl is being transferred to the live account.
Nice.
Earl was on a 19-day streak worth more than $18,000. So
good job.
Best of luck to Earl in the live markets. Yep. So welcome to the show, Russell. Russell is now on a 20-day hot streak worth about $5,700. Nice job.
Nice.
All right, let's pull up yesterday's best live funded P&Ls. Okay, these names should all look familiar to you. Of course, Dakota. He has the top spot on our leaderboard. Pin has also spent a considerable amount of time in the Topstep Top 10. David, Prince, and Tyler have all been here before, too, so welcome back. Pin cleaned up trading crude oil yesterday. David, Dakota, Prince, and Tyler all carved it up trading the NASDAQ. Those were the only two markets traded by these 5 traders, crude oil and NASDAQ yesterday. Big shout-outs to the live funded traders at Topstep. I'll be back in just a little bit with that top 10 list. What's up, Hoag?
We should just etch Dakota's name on there just so that it's always on there.
Oh, hey, did you guys catch
Did
you guys catch that 95% long crude oil tilt just a few minutes ago? I don't think I've ever seen it that high. Have you?
No.
Yeah. What happened to the market?
No.
I did see it. I saw it. I saw Robert update us in Slack, but we were someone's in a trade. What happened? Did crude sell off, or did it continue to rally?
Might
It
have
pulled
pulled
off
back
just a
couple of
little
pennies.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
but
much for that.
something
But the
to keep an eye
tilt
on.
fell off. The
It
tilt
did come
fell.
back.
Yeah.
We have a number coming out in 2 minutes, so I'm sure
A lot of people flattening probably.
people
Yeah,
flattening out.
clear.
Yeah. But yeah, 95%. Never seen it that high.
Wow. There's a new high.
All right, folks. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Thanks, JD. Oil numbers in less than 2 minutes. Eddie, when they come through, please jump on in.
1 minute. If you got a position on you're trading it, be careful. Be safe. Check, double check, triple check. Make sure you're flat.
I'll take it. Still crude. Crude's still 80% long, 75% long in the YM, 81% long in the gold.
Wow.
There he is. MP, there's signs of life. There is signs of life. MP may have gotten in on the game.
Oh, no.
The GameStop and AMC trade. This is news to me. He didn't tell me about this one. Not good. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. We'll give you an update here. It's a little tease. We'll update you with the status of those trades.
He's got a
Should be
very
laughing.
good lesson attached to that as well.
I would we've talked. Why are you buying that crap? What are you doing?
He's so funny.
What are you doing?
He's so impulsive.
Promo, man.
Yep.
Promo.
Promo is right. The headlines. It's
Impulsive.
CNBC. I blame CNBC for it. It's all CNBC.
Mm.
Why'd you? Oh, MP. Oh. I take it as a loss against your taxes,
Yeah.
so you're good there. Harvest some losses. What's up, Jack?
I may have dabbled as well.
No. What is going on, guys?
With different results.
Okay, good.
I was managing risk.
Oh my hold on. What's this?
Oh,
We got doorbells
What's
ringing
this?
now.
Yeah, it's me. You guys locked me out here. We had a number come out here just a few seconds
hit
ago.
us.
So.
oh,
Hit us.
yeah.
Yes, crude oil inventory is coming in at negative 2,508,000. They were looking at negative 0.6. So that coming
so
in
we had
there.
ourselves a pretty good draw there.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Back to
Thank
you,
you, Eddie.
Andre.
Well, let's go back to Jack here. I want to hear an update on his meme stock trade here, Jack.
Yeah,
Hit us. We are
how'd
kind of
you
trading
do,
sideways.
Jack?
Yeah,
Let
Jack,
me
how'd you
gather
go?
I made money, and let me gather my thoughts on it because I wasn't planning to talk about this on the show today. But I want to be careful when you're on the side of the trade that won in this case. I don't know. The pitchforks could come. So let me think about this. It's about managing risk.
I catch your drift here. We are trying to push up against these 18,540s. We're trading 34s right now in the NASDAQ. Alleyway 321 in the chat says, wow, 4,200 people watching right now. That is correct. 4,200 people watching right now. Please click like. Please click subscribe. We are on march to 100,000 subscribers. We will be crossing that 90,000 threshold here very soon. So we will have something in store for you guys. But until then, please click like, please click subscribe. We really appreciate it. John, let's get back to these markets. S&Ps, there's a magnet on these 5,300 level. What do we do with it? What are we doing with these 5,300s?
Well, I mean, weekly kickoff high is 52.96. That's a long above level.
Okay.
It looks like we're going to get a test of the 18,550 weekly kickoff high in the NASDAQ here soon.
What are we going to do with those 550s? Let's talk this out. Is there a trade here with these 550s, John?
There was before the open. It got within 2 points of it and then fell off, for what, 80 points or something like that. With the S&Ps holding above the weekly kickoff high, I would almost rather see the NASDAQ come above it, come back to it, and look for a long on a pullback back towards that level.
Okay.
Agreed.
Bullish. All right. Okay, man, Marisa. All right, shorting is off. We are off with the short. Okay, so you want to see, all right, John, let's play this out. You want to see a test of the 550s, a pullback, a rejection of the 550s, pullback, and then perhaps a long getting in.
No, I want to see it pop above it.
Yep.
And then pull back towards it for a long opportunity. I want to see it pop above, come back to it, and then see if we can get a move. Because that's going to help us limit risk.
Yeah.
I mean, we could try a short because it also limits risk from that side as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of contrary to the bigger picture.
I think you're right, John. I think it's contrary to the bigger picture. Okay, well, let's see it play out here.
Yeah, let's see what happens. We do see, I mean, we're still negative as far as Delta's concerned in the NASDAQ, negative 800 approximately. We're positive 10,000 in the S&Ps. All-time frame direct.
Here we go. 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, the bulls just kept pushing the sucker higher and higher and higher. Didn't matter.
Amazing.
Didn't matter. Yeah, it's a buy the pullback kind of day.
This is amazing because if we can't maintain price above that weekly kickoff level, the IB high 18,542. If we can't get above and start seeing some participation up there, we could feasibly leave a failed auction at the high here if we can't continue this move to the upside. So, this is very interesting. Kind of a high probability opportunity. Direction unknown.
Direction unknown. Got it. I'm assuming some people. I'm assuming there's some shares that came in there short of the 550s.
You know, it was the overnight high, so you know they're going to. There's going to be stops above it.
Yes, there will.
Dee, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at failed auction in crude. Because I think we might have rolled our bob a little bit too early. Because it's a bit gappy.
So you're saying failed downside auction, failed upside auction?
Yeah, failed downside auction, and potentially going to value low. And then I also have an average session range high, excuse me, at 78.08. There is a little bit of a supply in the way. But if we can get up there, that'd be a nice little trade.
You're watching these 550s very carefully, John, aren't you?
Yeah. You know, seeing some people in the chat are short there right now.
Yep,
it's not a bad thing. You know, it just limits risk. You know, if you see some participation above it, you know you're out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're bullish. Is the overall picture, like John said.
Mm-hmm.
52s trade, 53s trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. S&Ps and the NASDAQ are now extending the range above the initial balance. We got a long time to wait before we can see if we're going to actually accept above, but that's part of the game.
Anne-Marie, any more trade ideas? What are you seeing? I think I saw you're dabbling in crude, perhaps, Anne-Marie? What were you looking at over there?
Yes, I am. I'm looking for it to reject the VWAP and come in, but I'm also long the ES because I believe that what John said, hey, listen, above that 52.90, was it 52.96 or 52.94 you said?
Yep.
Yeah, 52.96 is long. And so I'm like, all right, well, that's, 5 points of risk. So I'm going to go for it and see if we can get 53.12, maybe 53.08.
That'd be nice.
Just, something like that. And look at the NAS breaking away.
Yes, it is. Damn it.
Now that's
yep.
60s trade.
That's why we were holding off on the short. Now, if we can, put a little structure up against it on the upside, then we go long.
Okay. From 50 or
55, 5.5 or 550.
550. Got that. I like that. All right, let's see. We're still pushing here. Trading 61s. High of the day, 63s. We're getting close to all-time highs, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting there.
We are.
When nobody was looking.
We really are. Yeah, we really are.
When no one was looking.
Even though we're looking at it all day, every day for 5 days.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So there's one last single tiny little naked point of control above here at 18,856 quarter. After that, it's all-time highs.
Wow.
Right, so do you tell me about this failed downside auction? What do you want to see that will elicit the move into the trade?
I would like to see it first tackle this VWAP because that's exactly where the supply is. And if we can push into it, I might want to see a value acceptance, sort of as a reversal of the trend, because we've been in a pretty fierce downtrend for a while, and we're now at a daily and weekly demand levels, and there's signs that we kind of slowed down. And we smacked below the previous low that we established several days ago. And because it's rollover, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that they kind of just stay in a range,
Range-bound.
sort of.
Yep.
So yeah, just bounce between this demand that we're at now at 77.26, and then there's a supply at 78.41, and that would kind of line up with the value acceptance idea. But we'll see
Okay.
what happens here.
Didn't get those 550s just yet, John. We might get it
Looks
right
like
here.
they're coming, though. Yeah,
Yes, it does.
looks like they could be coming.
Got like 20 minutes before we can see if we're really going to leave any single TPOs below that level.
All right.
For 542 is the IB high. Below that is risk on that.
So 542 would be set the stop, essentially.
But below that.
Below that.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Deeyana, I want to talk to Deeyana about this. Deeyana, when I hear you talk, where you place your stops, much more strategic than I say where I place my stops or where most place their stops. Talk about where you're setting your stops. Never round numbers. You'll do it on the quarters or the 3 quarters. You'll never. Yeah, talk about that, please.
Yeah, so I try to
Really
stay
good.
away from round numbers for my stop losses. I also have a scalable way to look at whether the stop is too small or too big. So I try to kind of find middle ground where it's going to allow me to react and to have some room rather than just using super tiny stops that's not going to allow me to react in time if the trade is not working out. And then I also like to look at the structure. So for example, in ES, there is some slowdown. So let's call it a demand level at 5,300. So my stop for this particular move would go below that. So 52.97 would be a good area for a long stop. And usually on ES, I will use anywhere from about 5 to about 9 points for a stop loss. So it's pretty sizable. And that means I want to wait for the opportunity that's going to allow me to have enough profit margin to use that kind of a stop loss. And that typically puts any kind of breakout trades on the back burner, unless we've already fallen away like miles, and then you can kind of look at that. But yeah, so it's a pretty good way to ensure that your position is strong. So rather than them hunting all of the stops that are at 53.05 and 5300, most of the time algorithms are not going to hunt stops that are at odd levels. So that's been my little secret. Yeah.
It's fascinating how that simple piece of information can really keep you from getting smashed sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right,
Also very interesting how much anxiety builds when you're waiting to go long and the price action doesn't come for you.
You're telling me right now, Anne Marie.
What the
It just
heck?
keeps going.
I want to jump out of my skin right now. I want to jump out of my. We're going to see these 70s here. All right. Well, we did have this. We don't have any levels. We have nothing above here, John, do we? Oh, John stepped out for 1 second.
MP had some levels.
This is like
PSO.
PCP trade. Yeah. Point, click, and pray.
Pretty much. What's MP's levels?
MP's levels were apparently the moon, and he may have lost it. We have some photographic evidence.
There we go. Oh boy,
this is
about 1,000 shares of AMC.
Our CEO. Well, he believes. What is it? Nicole Kidman says that the movies are different. Anyway,
movies are different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's some extra context here, James. I don't know if you have that Slack message. Oh, and John Hoag isn't here, so we'll have to tell him.
Yeah.
Might take us 1 second to get this loaded.
Oh man. You got 500 shares of Games. I should have laughed. That's brutal. Oh my god. He was bored on the airplane. It had to have been that. He was bored on the airplane.
Yeah. James, are you there?
He loves to trade.
Here it comes.
True. He does.
Oh, here it comes. Feel free to share my Slack message too, huh? Bunch of paper hand players. Diamond hands must still be holding from 2021 highs. Diamond hands is the stupidest strategy ever, hands down. FYI, I added this part. I don't know if he wanted me to include it. So it's on the focus here, which is big screen. You can see the host chart. Always one chart. Maximize at John Hoagland. Something that I have told you from time to time. We can't see those little quarter screen charts, John.
I knew you were on the plane, Michael. I knew it. Michael in the chat saying he was on the plane. I knew it.
Yeah, I sometimes put Topstep TV on my big screen downstairs, so it's pretty clear over there. But I think when you're watching it from like desktop screens, it's not as easy to see charts sometimes. Yeah.
And by the way, I am comfortable now attempting to explain the trade that I have on.
Okay.
I won't name the stock, but you can imagine. So instead of just buying it, I have a put calendar spread on because the implied volatility is like 700% yesterday for things expiring on Friday. And
so you got a short calendar spread on?
I am.
Or a long calendar spread. Okay, short.
Sold long-term, short the front, and then just going to keep rolling it or sell the covered calls if I get assigned the first part. And
you, Jack.
The risk is defined.
I like that.
I know the most I can lose, and let's see if I can make it work out.
I do.
I do like it.
So you just buy 1,000 shares of AMC and 500 shares of GameStop then, did you?
No.
Just cannonballed right into that trade. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, take a look at... All right, that crude tilt, we did see up to 90%. Crude is now at 50-50. So that tilt really went back to neutral there. YM 85% long. We've seen that throughout the day. New highs, ES and NQ. Thank you for that, Eddie. We're not going to get that dip to buy. We can't short this right now. So, Anne-Marie, that FOMO you're talking about is real right now.
It's real.
Very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Hell of a play. Buying those 60s. Buying those 460s. You bought 460s. My goodness, that was 100 points ago.
I know. If only it helped them.
Yep.
I'd been a wimp.
All right, seen 70s. Yeah. Okay, D. You're up 500 on the day-ish, I'll say. Any more RBOB trades? What will it take for you to get into crude? I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat talking about crude.
Yeah, I'm trying a little crude long, but I'm still just waiting around. It's a little bit under by about 10 ticks or so.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for them to decide what they're going to do around this supply, which can sometimes take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But the direction is up for now because of the failed auction. And that release was mildly supportive of long moves as well. But we still need to see this push higher. And then I have orientation points. VWAP is the first one, which is at 77.65. And then I have value low at 77.85. So would like to see value accepted. And then maybe to go into a bit of an irregular day to try and rotate through value all the way through to 78.39. So that would be the play. So if they don't start pushing it, then obviously I'm going to close the trade. But that's the general idea. So failed auction into value acceptance.
Did I hear you guys talking about me?
I was all good.
Yes, Hoag. Showed a slack from MP. Just try and keep one screen maximized when your chart's up.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to watch other markets, but
that's the thing.
we're working on an execution for NASDAQ, so I'll just leave NASDAQ up here now.
I know that MP's listening right now and watching at home, so I could say this directly to him. I'm pretty sure that he has 4 charts up most of the time.
He does indeed. I actually am on that account right now, and indeed I'm looking at 4 charts.
And that
keep
on the
one
fly,
open when you can. Hoag.
Feedback is always great.
100%.
Anytime.
All right, trade 18,570. What are all time highs here? Michael, you might want to get on here and buy these all time or sell the all time highs if you want.
In the NASDAQ?
Yeah, what's all time highs in NASDAQ?
All-time high NASDAQ.
700s, isn't it? 700s, I think.
18,709.
709, yeah. All right, we're getting there. Here we go from Exotic Car Blacklist. Hey, Andre, I have to say the lockout feature has helped me out so much. Best feature, hands down. Make my money and forces me to be down and not overtrade. Thank you. No Exotic Car Blacklist. Thank you. Is a great feature. So it's this one. All right, well, we'll see if we keep pushing higher here. We're looking for that pullback to get into. I don't know if we're going to get it, John. I do not know if this is going to be brutal. Anyways, Eddie's got some plugs for us. Eddie's, what do you got for us?
You want that right now?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Right now, yeah. Okay, hey, we got some plugs coming up here. Real quick here. Hold on a second. The plane's going down here. Hold on. All right.
What is happening?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Something big.
Eddie, you okay?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's
All right.
fighting a paper bag or something.
Yeah, it was. I had some new underwear. I couldn't get it out of the bag. All right. We got plugs. Yes, we do. Yeah. Hey, Topstep X feature highlight. Topstep X data direct from the CME. Did you know that Topstep X utilizes data directly from the CME? Well, now you do. And if you subscribe to level 2 data, you're going to see 300 price levels for a full view of the market depth. Yes, the DOM, market depth, DOM, whatever. And that updates every 50 milliseconds. And you're probably wondering, what is a millisecond? Well, actually, 50 of those equals exactly 0.05 seconds. So basically, 5% of a second is a millisecond, is 50 milliseconds. So have at it. A lot of us are using it. A lot of us talk about it. And also, Brett Steenbarger. Ask me anything. Brett's going to be with us. Brett Steenbarger will be joining Anne-Marie tomorrow to answer your trading mindset questions. So this is going to be fun.
I'm going to be there too.
Yeah.
And Johnny Hoagland with the yes.
Can't wait.
I see they just. I'm reading what they told me, John. I'm sorry. Oh, look, John's name magically appeared. There it is. Anne-Marie and Johnny Hoagland, Thursday to answer your questions. So submit your questions for Brett and Anne-Marie. We're going to drop that link. Okay, you off the harp right now. There you go. Okay. Yes, we're going to drop that link here in the chat. Also, we have some tutorials for you. Yes, Topstep X 5-minute tutorials by the professor himself, Coach Robert, filmed a series of videos, not music videos, tutorials for Topstep X that will help any new Topstep X user learn how to use the platform. So you can find these by clicking the question mark icon within the Topstep X, and that question mark is all the way to the left. You're going to see that over there. It's the last icon in gray, all the way to the left. And you're going to find them on YouTube. And we got a screen to share for that. We got that. Ready to set up? No, maybe not. Okay. All right. Oh. Well, anyway, we're going to post that. And back to you, Andre. That has been our plugs for this morning.
All right, thank you. Well, no house account trades just yet, John. We are seeing this pullback a little bit. I don't know if we're gonna get to those 50s, those 550s just yet.
A little bit.
Do we still like that? Do we still like that trade idea?
Well, I know D is thinking, is if we can leave some single TPOs, that's going to kind of mark acceptance of higher pricing and a lack of a failed upside auction here. So. Yep. I like the long. I like the the fact that 542 is the IB high, which is also likely to be supportive.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like that better. We test IB high.
Okay.
And then go in.
Check mark.
What's the number again? What's IB high again?
542.
542.
So NASDAQ. Yeah.
Okay. What's the size of the stop that the house account customarily uses?
Well, typically it's a numerical value. First thing when we do, we got the bracket order. We'll accept about $5,000 worth of risk, just as a just in case, just in case the entry just gets absolutely smoked and we have to get out. But then we adjust it accordingly. But just for the bracket orders, 5,000 risk, reward of 7,500 just for the bracket order.
All right.
Speaking of the house account, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
542.
going to
That's
be
a
stepping
trim.
out for a few.
That's a trim. All right,
See you
John.
all shortly.
Yeah, Jack. You see, John. Thank you very much. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
What?
Yo.
Whoa!
What?
Wow! Look who it
What's
is.
up?
Look who it
Hey,
is.
where's Island Mike?
Bad pony shirt. Woo!
Bad pony.
Who's Island Mike? We're Shy City Mike right now.
Oh boy! Oh boy! City boy.
City boy, back at it.
That's enough.
What's up?
All right.
All right, Michael. You're all right. You're jumping onto a moving train here, Michael. Welcome back to the States. Island Mike is now Italian Beef Mike. He is the city boy. He's back. He's back where it all started. He's back where it all started in Chicago. Great to see you. You have the house account open, or you just come dropping by to say hi?
No, I have one laptop open. I'm jet lagged, so I don't. I got in last night, so we did
Cool.
quite a
All right. Well,
like 40 hours of flying. It felt like.
Jesus. So at what point in those 40
With two
hours?
kids, with 3 kids, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least, I'm sure you were flying coach in an aisle seat too. So I'm sure it was very, very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable.
He's in the middle seat. Come on.
Middle seat. Put us with the livestock. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right next to the laboratory, I'm sure. But anyways, Michael, you got long a lot of Apex. You got Apex. Oops. You got long a lot of AMC. You got long a lot of GameStop.
I would be short. I would be short them 100%. But hey, that's a different topic.
Michael, you sure bought the Apex. I'll tell you that much. Of those stocks.
Oh, I sure bought the. Yes, I did. I got in on the. I thought retail would push it. I thought everybody would come off the sidelines. But then I thought about all the people that are stuck long, all the diamond hand. The stupidest strategy in the world is just diamond hands. I mean, that's like the dumbest. That's when you knew the memer world was dumb, and I never got involved in it, but it was kind of fun to watch. But when they just go diamond hands, well, the easiest part or the hardest part about getting in a trade is knowing when to get out.
That's right.
Clearly, diamond hands has no end strategy in mind. But hey.
I did, Shooter. I was reading Trading Cops comment in the chat while speaking, and AMC turned into the other 4-letter word. So, hey, my apologies on that one. Michael is back. Michael, we are approaching all-time highs. I don't know last time I guess you were pulling the trigger on some trades out there on the beach in the Indian Ocean. But we're about 150 points away in the NASDAQ from all-time highs. No house account trades yet.
Yeah.
No house account trades yet. We are looking for perhaps a pullback in the NASDAQ here to around the 42 level. If we can get right down there, we will be taking a long here. We got 15 lot queued up. Yesterday, we lost about $3,000 in the house account. Trying to get short, trying to call the tops. You know how that goes.
Last week, Dre, you guys put up 17. Then I came in on a Friday and lost 10. But it wasn't me. Sorry, it wasn't me.
Not you.
It was just our collective. No, it's not me. But as an executor, you feel a part of the game. As a community, we should all. I mean, like, it was just not a day that connected for our traders, Dakota and Coach Jay. And but I think they still said they do the exact same thing all over again. Deeyana and Ann, you guys crushed you at the house account last week, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
we
used a combination of Adam's gamma levels and my value area. So yeah, it just worked out. We used some price action to time it, so it was pretty nice. Yeah, very painless, drama free.
You guys kept it tight on yesterday. What is it? Yeah, yesterday.
Monday no house count trades. Tuesday, what is today? Today's Wednesday, yes. Yesterday about down $3,000.
Yeah, Monday was super quiet. Super quiet. Nick Fruitic was there, and we just couldn't see anything. It was just like, nothing that was worth the house account. Yeah.
Happy to report.
I think Nick did a great sort of hit and run It was great, but I think that would have been a little bit too quick for the house account because we had to discuss it, see what's going on, and we just couldn't really find that opportunity on Monday, which is okay because it ended up being a super, super quiet day. So it's all good.
But I'm happy to report that Dee and Anne-Marie are both up very nicely right now. So they're carving this sucker up right now. Here's that pullback down in the 60s. We're not going to get these 50s, are we? Here we go. Woo. Wow, here we go.
Just will not pull back.
No.
New highs.
Man, these markets are just...
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's just relentless. Relentless.
No, it is.
Relentless. It is relentless. Never-ending bid.
Hey, speaking of Wednesday and tomorrow, Thursday,
yes.
you're on with Steenbarger.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Brett. Yeah, it's going to be
Dr.
fun.
Brett.
Yeah, I got a couple of his books, so I'm going to break them out and then look around and ask a few questions there. It's going to be fun. We haven't seen last time we saw each other was like a money show 10 years ago. So
the money shows are okay. What do you think about a money show?
I mean, the best thing about a money show is traders meeting each other. There's really, in terms of presenting and that sort of stuff and bang for the buck, because it gets super expensive if you're
10 grand, 10 grand for a booth. Yeah.
And
we looked into it.
The best thing to do is just network there in terms of saying, hey, who are some great traders around, and then do some off the I know Debbie. I hope Debbie's not watching this.
Well, who's Debbie? Who's Debbie?
Debbie's the senior.
Oh, she runs it.
She's the senior gal that runs the money show.
Okay.
Well, no, I think the intentions and everything of it's good. I think just like anything, you get a Topstep, there's always something we could be doing better. Of course, 100%. In the industry, how do we keep networking? Because traders are in it for the lifers. There's lifers that are traders.
Exactly.
And I think getting them together is super important. So I think that's part of the intention.
For sure. And the flip side of that is, if you are there to sell a product specifically, then but you need, I'm just saying because it's true, you need a lot of very young, pretty girls in short skirts walking around handing stuff out. And that's a lot better marketing than, having 10 grand for a booth, because they expect somebody to be sitting there every single minute of the day, or they'll be like, we're not going to let you even come back even after you're spending that. So, and there's
probably a better marketing strategy. And then Andre walking around in his daisies, handing out flyers.
Come on. Hey, now. No. Come on, Anne-Marie.
I'm looking for the picture on the couch.
The Costanza. No one needs that. No one needs to see that.
That's when he goes. That's when he's on the sidewalk in Vegas. He hands those out.
Clicking those cars.
Andre in the Euro Speedos.
Yikes!
But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It's just, and it is what it is. Being young and beautiful has always been an asset. It really has always been an asset from the dawn of time. We love beautiful things. And so I like that marketing. If you're thinking, hey, do you go there? It's better to just have a bunch of boots on the ground meeting people at different places as opposed to, whatever. And then having something off-site.
Yep, you said that perfectly. That's exactly what we did. Dre and I went there 2010, 2011. When we first started Topstep. We had another friend, RIP, Brian Welsh, great dude, trading floor, passed away. Awesome dude. He's been on here before, so that's sad. But he was with us, and we went there to walk around, hand out flyers, and then had an open bar like across the street that anybody could go to, and then that's how we got to I I think it was only $1,500 to have an open bar.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then we got to watch Linsanity. That was Linsanity. I think it was
It
around
was.
2012.
Oh my gosh.
In New York, when he had his
saw it.
his heater, it was great. I'll wear my Linsanity shirt sometime.
Good.
Gosh, that feels like
Anne-Marie.
a lifetime ago. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
God.
it won't shock you to know, speaking of the same industry, a certain cash brokerage that will not be named. When I was trading overnight, there were probably like 30 or 40 of us there. And they used to send a very pretty woman with like 30 hamburgers there just to maybe make you consider their
Food and chicks.
Exactly.
Oh,
Is there
boy.
any other combination that might work better? I'm thinking
I
not.
don't know.
I can't.
I got
We
6
can't. You can
sons.
say that,
Listen.
man. You can say that. You
Listen,
can
I
say
got 6 sons. I know all
Uh-huh.
about it. I know all about it. And the beauty of it is, since I am their bonus mom, right? I'm not their biological mother. I'm their bonus mom.
That's
They will tell me anything, everything. I'll be like, TMI, fellas. There are lines that should not be crossed. That's one of them. So, swerve. So, you just, and listen, anybody ever seen the gosh, it was a movie about a girl who was a mermaid, and I can't even remember. It wasn't Splash, but we were watching it with all of the kids. Wow. It was with all of the kids. She was like a young woman, and she comes out of the water, and it was PG. And she comes out of the water. Her hair's very long, and it's covering her top lady parts. All the boys are sitting there going, and my husband chimes in, if only her hair were shorter, right, fellas? And I was like, what are you teaching them? He's like, I'm not teaching them anything. That's what they would say if you were not in the room. And so it was just, it is what it is.
Locker room talk, man. Locker room talk.
There you go.
Easy.
Careful, Empty.
That's
Easy.
about
I'm not a part of this.
my locker room talk. That's
I'm not
about
a
the
part of
peak of it right there.
Michael is.
Speaking of locker room talk.
Go ahead,
Speaking
Michael.
of
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Speaking of locker room talk, I just heard a notification, and I know we don't do politics, but the potential presidents are going to have a head-to-header debate end of the month in June. End of June. Oh yeah.
Really?
Biden and Trump accept the CNN invitation to debate on June 27th.
Will you tell?
Let's put a poll.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That's great. Now, what's up besides that?
Hold on, new highs here, guys. New highs. We're squeezed. The shorts are getting crushed. Stops just went off here. Trading 18,586. Will we see 18,600 today? Will we see the 600s? Anne-Marie, is there any place to short this market? Getting long seems to be at these prices. How do you?
Yeah, I don't think so. And really, if we just look at it technically speaking, what is the trend? It's up. What is momentum? It's up. And are the moving averages moving away from each other? So I don't know. I'm just going to get super nerdy for about 3 minutes.
Cool. Let's do it.
With a MACD, you get two pictures. You get two moving averages. MACD means moving average, convergence, divergence. Converge means come together. Diverge means move apart. So we have the MACD, the MACD lines are moving up and the histogram is green. And so that tells us is the moving averages are moving away from each other, which is giving you more momentum. When the moving averages come together, those lines tighten up. And that's why that histogram goes from big to small to big to small. And everything is saying, hey, listen, it's still moving up. It's still moving up. And while things are moving up, you just go, hey, that's it for me. I'm just going to sit in here. Now, you could go through a tight cycle and say, all right, it's coming into, that 590 area, if it can come back to 570 and break out. But now we're getting into the gamma lines. And so we've got a battleground, and that gamma line battleground is 18,596.
596. Okay.
18,596 to 18,640. And so when you're taking a look at something like that, it becomes quick snap trading. So,
my goodness.
Well, we got Nick for a tick short right now, 53.13s.
In the S&Ps?
75s. That's what he said in the chat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that edge. I do. 53.12 was the upside target for my long in
Okay.
In
All right.
the ES.
So, by the way, I grabbed about 200 on that crude oil trade on my live as well. So it might continue,
back.
but for now we're at value high.
Really
so
nice. That's a great
so
result.
yeah, we'll see what crude oil. Well, crude oil is moving, man. That's the new
Yeah.
market, you know, without just what that one. But yeah, so it looks like we are going to go into a value acceptance. I might pop in another trade if we close the 30-minute candle somewhere around there, above 78 for a value acceptance trade. But for now, that was just like a little, little kind of grab of whatever I had after that crude oil inventories came out.
Did you miss crude, D? Did you miss it? It's nice, huh?
And no, do you know what? I quite like RBOB, I'll be honest, because it's more liquid. Like once you get in, you know whether you're wrong or right pretty much immediately. And I do like that aspect. It's how crude oil used to be. So if you look at it like even like 6 months ago, it was still moving like 200, 220 ticks per day. And you could get those, like I've done so many trades live on here where you would get in and it would just start sliding or rising. You would know what's happening. And then you would get a clean, nice sort of 70, 80 ticks follow through, like no drama, nothing. And then it all just stopped. And it started making most of the movement during the initial balance. And then it would just die. So I'm like, well, come on, like, what's happening? So yeah, it's it's been very challenging. But then somebody suggested RBOB, and one of our themes of the last week, I think it was to reinvent yourself. Now it's not necessarily reinventing myself because it's still an energy product, which I know pretty well. It's very correlated with crude oil. It just has a bigger range, and trading RBOB today is a bit tricky because we're in rollover, and I think on Topstep X we might have rolled slightly early, because if I tried to go in now, it's just going to start jumping, and that tells me that we've kind of rolled, but not everyone is trading that. So looking at some of my other platforms, there's still a little bit more smoother movement in the June contract still today. But yeah, we'll see from tomorrow. I think we're going to be in July, so yeah, that should be fun, because it does move. Like RBOB is so pretty. It's just like whoosh, whoosh.
Yes.
Like, I love it.
I found that about the Nikkei also, and I would never have looked at it without listening to Dakota. And at nighttime, you really can tell where you go, oh yeah, this is going to work out just fine. Or it comes into the space and you start seeing the motion and you go, oh, time to leave. It's just really, it's a nice, clean instrument.
It's like DAX is as well. That's why I'm like aching to get Eurex into Topstep X.
Well, I'm trying. Deeyana, I actually just pinged them because I've been on social media. I've been put on social media, so I'm following what people are saying now, which is
What are they saying?
Whatever.
What are they saying?
God. Just puking their emotions and anything on their mind. Social media, go figure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying everything on social media, not the trading community. I'm saying everything. It's just like, but big. I grab feedback, like the constructive one. You should have this. You should have that. This sucks. Why don't you do that? And Eurex is one of them. But then they're saying, well, we don't have that many people. We don't have that many people requesting it as far as the product team. And then I'm like, well, okay, what other stuff are higher priority? And then they show the list.
Well,
I'm like,
So one of the main reasons why not many people are requesting it is because the futures markets are pretty much out of the game for anyone who's based in Asia or Australia. So they don't even look at it because it's like overnight for them over there. And it's, it's a big problem. If you have to like get up at like 2 a.m. to actually trade, they're not going to do it. And then they kind of gravitated towards Forex CFDs, which are legal in some of those countries. And, that's where they traded. But if you can grab that chunk of the market and drag them over to proper futures, Eurex, you're going to get a whole bunch of people just flooding, and you'll be probably the only company that's legitimately providing Eurex data for proper futures,
Why don't we just end it? Yeah. But Deeyana, why don't we just end it with the only legitimate company? I know I'm just being cocky here, but did you see another FX company went down? Another FX company went down. 2 in a week.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the regulators are coming after them. I'm not really surprised. When I heard some of my students who are U.S. residents, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go with this company," and I was like, "How can you even sign up to them? Do they accept U.S. residents?" And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's not correct because CFDs are illegal. There's this thing called Dodd-Frank legislation. What the hell is happening? And they're like, oh, I don't know. They just let me in. And here we are, a mere 3 years later. It's all coming down, man. So I'm really not surprised.
Yeah. So I funny you say that because I was at Island Mike was doing his on the island thing, and then every day I'd go to breakfast in the morning, and I would just wear the island look, and I in the island it's barefoot and no hat. The last day I'm there, I wear this hat, and the same kid that was kind of clearing the table the entire time goes, "Oh, are you with Topstep?" And I'm like, "I'm in Maldives. I'm in Maldives."
Come on.
And 100%, I'm in Maldives, and his name's Maxi, Maxxi, because I was talking to him, and I go, "Oh, it's kind of a cool name." And we started talking. That was 3 days before that. And then he sees this. He's like, I'm with so-and-so FX firm. Never heard of it before. He's like, I don't really like it. They're kind of bad. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, I just don't like them. They're really bad. So I think that's another piece of this. And I'm like, man, you got to come over to futures. Futures where it's at. So I showed him the platform, and then he's very interested. I told him I'd hook him up and all that kind of stuff. But Maxi, if you're tuning in, because I told him to tune in, I go, hopefully you are tuning in. But yeah, cool cat. And I said, get away from FX and CFDs. He trades gold, but it's a gold dollar. And I'm like, just trade the gold.
It's CFD version. It's now XAU USD. That's what they represent it as. And it's a derivative of a derivative. So it's like, oh, great. And then it's not very regulated because there is kind of regulation when it comes to the actual brokerages that are kind of running things behind the scenes. But on a product level, it's not centralized. And, let's face it, Forex market in general, most of the transactions are not going to be on any kind of an exchange. It's going to be in resorts, airports, hotels, boats and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think you said it correctly. Yeah. Dodd-Frank is the one that said, get the hell out of here, pretty much. Yep. Yeah. And then they all came in here, and now they're all pulling out of there and out of the States, which is also a big influx of FX coming to futures, which Austin is a big FX guy moving over. We have a couple others that are going to be joining us and doing the same thing, showing us how to transition from it. Why trade the US 500 when there's actually the S&P 500? It's legit. It's actually trademarked, and it's traded on a registered exchange, and it's actually the S&P 500.
And tick value and points are the same, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, this one is $1 and this one is 100, this one is 5, and then they add a random spread on top of it, and that varies wildly. And that, literally, if you go into a trade, somebody will be like, well, why isn't the price the same? It's because they add the spread onto your trade. So in order for your trade to even go into profit, it first needs to cover the spread. So let's say it's 7 ticks. So you immediately have to increase your stop loss by 7 ticks to even cover the spread. It's just making it so much more difficult in a world where trading is already so difficult. It's like, thanks. Yep. And it kind of brings me back to the Wild West of, the 2000s, when we had a whole bunch of Forex brokerages running A and B books. And now we have the same thing in Forex prop firms. It's like they can control the amount of spread.
100%.
Like, what the hell,
And
you know? Yeah.
they're reading this correct because there's such a flood of FX. You're 100% right. Prop firms went dormant and quiet. Topstep, again, and I'm going to give us kudos because we created, Dre used to always call it the E-prop firm. Like, we created he was at a prop firm, I was at a prop firm, but these were all in Chicago. Prop firms were really quiet. They weren't really online as far as S&B Capital was, and that was kind of the first one I think that was really online that I recall. Now, this leads me to the story of FX brokerages came and littered the world. And then that was also before the Dodd-Frank. And then that happened. Dodd-Frank said, get the hell out of USA, do your own 400-to-1 bullshit in Caymans and all that kind of stuff. So people get lured into that. It's a Lambeau field. If I put $50 in, I have control over all that. I get that. It's not the smart move, but I get that. Then they said, hey, put a failure rate on all these companies. So that's kind of a thing you saw at the bottom. 70-80% of people failed by trading CFDs. So that was all happening. That's all before 08, 09. Topstep comes around 2010. S&B Capital is around. They're a prop firm. Topstep starts an e-prop firm. Then next thing you know, 2014 to 16 to 18, all these other prop firms started showing up and less FX brokers. So now the FX brokerage kind of, I want to say, slimy side of it, because there is a part of that, both the educator and the brokerage, then kind of moved into the prop firm. Now you're seeing all these prop firms start to like dismantle. Why? Because MT4 got the rug pulled out, or pulled the rug out from underneath everybody. Now everybody has obligations to pay. They don't put anybody in the live markets. Ooh, guess what you have to come up with? That funds. So they all shut down. It's bullshit. And I think somebody in there that owns another prop firm in the funding space that also owns one in the FX space goes, what are we going to do? Or said something about the concerns of this. I go, there's not a concern. I did this on Twitter. There's not a concern if you take people to live markets. Now, don't get me wrong. We have people in the XFA that we're paying them based upon their trade signals and what they provide, their data. That's very important to us because there's something we can do with that to help us make trade decisions at our prop firm. But also, if they're doing really well, you hear Mick talk about the call-up process, and we take people live. That's how we manage our risk there, too. And if you're taking people live, you don't have to come up with the profits to pay them because they create the profits. So long story short, there was that move from FX brokerage to FX prop, and now FX prop, like FX brokerage got regulated. I don't know what's going to happen. There's something. That's why Topstep's really moving towards getting registered, because we believe that we need to lead by A, example, and B, do the prudent thing, taking advice from and showing that we are trying to go the right route, not hide. Open our books. You can see our books. You can see anything. That's really what registration is about, is audited books, checking in annually, all that kind of stuff. I think that would behoove everybody, or behoove us, and also benefit every aspiring prop trader. Because now that you know that your funded path is safe, or your path at Topstep is safe, or your commitment to staying at Topstep has a long tail to it, or forever tail to it. That's really where my hope is the futures industry gets stronger and the FX industry gets better. And I know the guys at FTMO. I talked to them. Very cool guys, founders, and we talk about both of them being in FX and us being in futures. And I think they're solid. You see them, they don't work with all these promoters or any of those influencers. They are just FTMO. They're a solid brand, and they are very, very well capitalized, well funded, and all that kind of stuff. That there's nothing, unless regulations hits, there's nothing that I would be concerned about. Me personally, just speaking personally, going to a firm like that. Now, if you're going to every mom and pop up that shaves the price down and makes it easier, cheaper, faster, good luck. I mean, that's your own choice. So just be smart, but another FX bites the dust.
He is back, folks. He is back, man. He missed the camera. He missed the microphone. He missed Topstep TV. He is back. Really good to see. But yes, another FX
bad
firm
pony, Mike.
Bad pony. One of our good friends'
bad
companies,
pony.
Bad pony.
Good friends' companies, bad company.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a very cool
What's
hobby.
up?
But he is back. And while he was doing that, we did see 18,600 trade. There was a 210 lot. Coach Jay, correct me if I was wrong. I believe it was 210 lot on the offer in the NASDAQ. Huge size. It traded out. We did see a bit of a pullback from there. Trade ideas wise,
yes.
all those short ideas, we would have been smoked today. So good on that. We never really found the entry to get in long. We were looking for 50s. 550s right now seems to be the key level if we'd like to get long. To be a 50-point retracement. pullback, if you will. Thank you, Coach Jay. 212 trade on the 18,600 level on the offer side. I know, Michael Stan. I know you told me, but yes, currently we're looking for a pullback. We can't get the pullbacks. What's this? Danielle is fueling the fire here in the chat. Someone's coming after you, Michael. I can't read that, but someone's gunning for you, Michael. Welcome back, baby. Welcome back.
I'm gonna scroll down to the chat. It's gonna scroll down to the chat and see that. But first, really quick, I want to answer a couple things that were in here. Isn't plus 500 a CFD company? Says Jake Harris. Yes, they are. But plus 500 USA bought Cunningham Commodities T4. You see the T4? They bought them to become a futures clearing merchant, FCM, futures clearing merchant. Right? Yeah, I should know that. I passed the 3. Right, Dre? Huh?
Oh, I passed the 3. You call it the 3 now? You dropped the series? I passed the 3.
Yeah, it's like,
get out of here, man. Who you crapping? Yeah. Go on.
It's like my Ivy League buddies are just no.
I passed the 3.
So they bought Cunningham. Cunningham had a clearing firm. They had all the seats on the floor, and they became so they have a future side of their business. CFD. They're going to be all in one. So yeah, they have a CFD side, and if you look at their stock, I think Deeyana, they're traded on the London Exchange FTSE 250. But they're trying to expand into the futures business. So Topstep X, all live trades. Yes, live trades could happens through Topstep X. Go through or are executed and cleared through a registered futures clearing merchant with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And regulations. So that's that. So that should help answer that question. Yeah.
So that's just because CTS got bought by plus 500. That's the only reason.
Oh, got it.
So we just need to clarify.
Okay, so
to clarify that.
Yeah. So the next one is there was a T3 and there was SMB Capital back in the early day. They were more come into the office. I think T3 is kind of starting this kind of like you don't have to come in the office. But in 2010 is when we as Topstep started the funding industry as far as an E level, and then more came about. In the 2010s and beyond, 2014s, 2016s, Earn to Trade came out, and they were the first one we call the copycat. And then after that, there was like a one-up trader, and then all the other ones started popping up. But that's when the industry formed. I want to say
something about Earn to Trade, because obviously I've got some of my traders who are not U.S. residents. So, some of them are from Russia, South Africa, here, there, everywhere. Some firms cannot legally accept certain countries due to sanctions and regulation, all of that. And actually Trade are the alternative because I think they're headquartered in Hungary, from what I remember. And that
they are.
Slightly different jurisdictions. So therefore they are a good option if you can't be with Topstep and with like legitimate prop firms who are CFTC registered. So just wanted to put that out there.
I know the Chaba over there. He's a great guy. I think he's the CEO, but he's the main dude. I talk to him all the time. He's in WhatsApp. We always like, hey, did you see what so-and-so did? Did you see this other company? I do the same thing with FTMO. So that's us over here working with others. That's kind of the thing. Somebody goes FXCM. What about FXCM? We were going to work with FXCM. We went to their offices in New York, and then I believe like 8 months later, the Swiss franc did some wild shit. And they blew out.
January 2015. I remember it like it was yesterday. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, holy. In Deeyana, we didn't go with FXCM. We were going to work with them. They're like, hey, we want to work with you. What level you guys are doing?
It went bust.
Their risk management software. We got to see it. We got to see all the risk management. We're like, no chance. Like, we can't even work with your risk. No. They had the most piss poor. And I'll say this out there because they blew out a bunch of people and whatnot. Their risk management software was so bad. And the company, and it's so bad that we said, no, we're not going to work with you. Because we have to have a solid risk management behind us, or else you could easily blow out, especially if you take people live. I think those are some of the questions that were flying through, and I just wanted to get those answered. There is any more I can fire away, but that's a lot of history right there.
I work as somebody's saying, I work as a forex dealer for FX CFD brokers. Stay away from those guys.
Yeah, the one bites the dust.
That was so funny.
Oh, that felt good. That felt real good, Michael. He's back. Look at that little back stretch. Swig his coffee. Feels good. Just like riding a bike. Just
Ginger tea, Andre.
All right. Yeah, good for you. Saw you walking around the neighborhood.
No drink. Haven't been drinking and haven't been Old Island Mike. He likes a good pina colada, less the colada and more the coconut. So yeah.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Coconut water.
Well, you're back in the city now. We all know how that goes once you're back in Chicago. Anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with these 18,600s. JD's been waiting very, very patiently to get that top 10 list. Hey, Michael, when's the last time you saw the top 10 live funded leaderboard?
I've been talking to a few folks in Topstep about who's moving on it, because I watch who's moving on it. Even on the top 20 and 50, I'm like, hey, who's doing what? Because that to me is like, holy shit, they were this and now they're this, and who is that person? And I'll go, what's their story? Like, oh, it's a lady out of Texas and she does her own this and that. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Can we bring her on? Yeah, she's actually interested. Or this person we can't get a hold of. So we're actually always trying to share it with you guys, because these are real. JD going to go ahead and get started right after this. But like, these are real P&Ls that people put up, and we're going to share them because Topstep is about being around real traders, real live trading, as I mentioned earlier, that goes to real regulated exchanges and real transparency, the best we can do. And JD, you want to run it?
Yeah, JD, let's do it.
For sure, let's do it. Let's start off with some XFA P&Ls from yesterday, though. More huge numbers out of the XFAs yesterday. Jacob had a massive day trading in the NASDAQ and the Dow.
Damn.
Jared spread some love around crude oil, NASDAQ, and copper futures. Kevin was trading gold and NASDAQ. Kevin is actually trading in 3 XFAs, and those big numbers he spread around across 3 accounts. So that put him in our leaderboard. We're going to see his name again in just a minute. Gideon and Lisa, both with impressive days, trading the NASDAQ too.
Damn.
All right, here's the
trading.
bottom half. Yeah, very good trading. Here's the bottom half of our leaderboard. Let's start at the bottom. Oh, no, we'll start at the top. Isaac creeping up the list again. Isaac added about $1,000 to his account balance and moved up from 8th to 6th place. Nick Ford Tick, our boy, you see him in the chat, suffered a sizable drawdown yesterday across 3 XFAs and a live account and fell from 3rd place down to 7th place yesterday. Big hit for Nick there. I'm sure he'll be back on it, though. All right, Kevin F., who we just mentioned on the XFA P&L list. Kevin spread $45,000 across 3 XFAs yesterday, and he now finds himself sitting in 8th place on the Topstep leaderboard. I couldn't see what place he was in yesterday on our dashboard. I kept digging around, but I just couldn't find it anywhere. I'm assuming it was somewhere down in the 200s, though, just based off of account balance. Yep. Selman dropped $1,000 in his live funded account trading the NASDAQ yesterday, but he is still holding on to 9th place for another day. And we round out this part of the list with our good friend Sean. Sean also suffered some heavy losses trading the NASDAQ in 3 XFAs yesterday and fell from 5th place down to 10th. All right, Eddie.
Here we go.
You with me?
Hey, we're clicking.
You did it! You did it! I knew you would! I just knew you would!
Nice.
Great. Look at that number.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Look at that.
All right, let's start down at the bottom here. In 5th place, we've got Alberto P. Alberto picked up close to $15,000 yesterday trading the NASDAQ and Russell and jumped up from 25th place into 5th. Yep.
5th.
Nice.
Coming in 4th place today. Yep. Coming in 4th place today, Raphael. Raphael did not trade yesterday, but was still able to hold on to 4th place for another day. He was in 4th place yesterday also. Ming picked up close to $9,000 trading the NASDAQ in 3 XFAs, jumped from 6th place up to 3rd. Nicely done, Ming. And our top 2, Drew. This guy's having a week. He had another impressive day yesterday. He spread close to $8,000 across 3 XFAs. Drew is up a total of $14,500 so far this week. Big week for Drew. He narrowed the gap just a little bit on Dakota, but Dakota's not backing down either. Dakota put up $3,700 trading the NASDAQ in his live funded account yesterday, and he's still up about $70,000 on Drew, or the next best trader at least. That is our Topstep leaderboard.
Thank you, JD.
You got it.
Coming for you. They're coming for you, Dakota. They're coming for you, but Dakota says not so fast. not so fast. Dakota's making money being a bear yesterday. Very hard to wrap my head around that, but it was successful. I don't know. I haven't gotten an update on the P&Ls just yet. We did see those 600s. We broke through the 600s, new highs in the NASDAQ. The rally's coming in. Michael, what's going on? Michael, what do we...
What?
Nothing.
I'm ready to get back. I'm ready to get back at my desk. Being on the road, man. Deanna, I know how it feels. And Ann, I know how it feels. Ann was chasing the band, and Deanna, you were in the band, but you're both on the road, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're trying to trade, like, for example, I was still doing some traveling and stuff when I started trading, you'd be, on planes or lounges or buses, which is like the worst thing. You're like in this coffin-like space on a tiny little laptop, and you're like, yes, trying to see levels. And it's like, what am I doing?
Oh, God.
It's terrible.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's not as glamorous as they make it sound.
No, it's not. It's not as exciting as they make it sound. The movies make this profession much more exhilarating and thrilling than it really is.
Yeah.
True. And I think they glamorize risk just a bit too much. Those movies.
But when it works, it's beautiful. It's the best job in the world. So, you know.
Absolutely.
Speaking of glamorizing risk, I had to go look at my Robinhood. And God.
What happened? Yeah. How are we looking?
I had two stocks that I have some money in here that I just play around with. I don't play around with it. I like a couple of things. If Topstep's going to work with a company, I look at the company and I'm like, hey, we're going to bring them a lot of business. Who are they publicly traded? Blah, blah, blah. A little Pelosi, I guess, in me.
Boy,
it's not insider information.
Swinging today.
No, it's definitely not insider. If I'm going to, So I look into that, and I've been doing really well. And then I get in this AMC and GMC or GME or whatever it is. I don't know.
Hey, Michael, we got to address something that we're starting to see some things pop up here in some of the social media.
Yeah.
Discord stuff. $25,000 cap on payout at Topstep. What do you say? It's fake news, BS. I mean, we've seen much.
We put that in an agreement, so we let people go much bigger. It's more we cover our ass if there's a flash anything. And guys, we do this if there's a flash anything. We cover our ass in the express funded account. Right. And the reason why you hear these call ups, we're always calling people up, is when they get close to that or they exceed that, we let them trade play out. And we go, hey, by the way, guess what you just did? You unlocked a live account. You are a professional. We're bringing you up because we don't forever sim anybody. Never forever sim. If you're trading well, that is in the agreement of XFA. There's no cap. So whatever idiots are saying that, I don't know. I'm not saying that like that. You just can't. You can't lead people down the wrong path. So don't just make up things that you hear. Please don't. And try to help us out by spreading the word and being a good advocate. And everybody in here.
We're just tuning into Topstep TV. Tune in Topstep TV. You're going to see your real trades, real accounts, real P&Ls, real traders. This whole sim forever thing, no, that's not what we're about. We're trying to get you guys funded. That's right, Eddie. Tell him, Eddie. Tell him, Little John. Trying to get you guys funded, right? Big league stuff. This is how we do it. So, well, thank you for clarifying that, Michael. We appreciate that as always. Great to have you back. Let's do a quick recap. Michael, did I tell you saw 95% long in crude this morning, and it did sell off.
What did crude do after the 95%?
Sold off.
It went up. No, it kept going up.
Oh, it did.
It just sold off a little bit.
It was only like a tiny bit, and then it continued. Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully the longs got paid there. Yeah. Quick delta up.
The crowd was right. Point being,
when we do look at that,
yes, they were.
Yeah, because tilt isn't, and Anne Marie says it all the time too. Tilt isn't. There's no one thing to all one things. You got to line it up with the other things that you're following, right? Exactly, I mean, you talk about the level. If it comes up to that, and if there's no levels around there that aren't any significance, and it's going to float whatever way the majority of the herd pushes it. Would be my hypothesis.
So I took a short at the 18,598 area.
Lucky.
In the, it's making me a little nervous because it's definitely counter trend, but there's a gamma line up there. We can't get up over it. Every break higher, we fade. And so it's just got me thinking that, we could have a little traction there. Now, what would be ideal is to get us into the potential of being short is we sort of hold the level near, 580, but then bounce and not get up over 595. And then that gives us a failure of congestion and then a bounce and a failure to hold highs. But what I'm seeing is, again, negative momentum and positive trend tells us that there are buyers underneath us, but we don't know how strong they are if the trend is going to break. Yeah. So that's the only little piece here. So it's doing that. Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to run. I just remembered I don't remember. I'm on Colorado time and I'm supposed to be in a meeting 10 minutes ago at a coffee shop with a really important potential team member that's going to be. No. And I know, and they're calling.
Tell them it's our fault.
Great first impression, Michael. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I'm still at Colorado time, and I'm in Chicago. It's earlier.
He couldn't help himself. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, my man is back. Head is spinning. That city life moving a little too fast for him, maybe, but he'll get back caught back up to speed. Eddie, I want to talk to you about something real quick. We got something this week, right? The tip of the week. Have a clear mind, right? We're working on mindset this week. Yesterday we had Dr. Ginny mindset therapy session, solid hour, just amazing Q&A with JD and herself. What do we have coming out tomorrow? Because I know this is one of Michael's favorite people. We've been talking about him since the beginning of TopStep. Since the beginning of TopStep.
Yes.
What we got coming out tomorrow?
Yes. Question: are you struggling with your mindset? Well, you know what? We got you covered. Yes, we do. How bad is it?
And it was just awful. Oh, just awful.
Well, you know what? Tune in tomorrow because we've got Brett Steenbarger, PhD, going to be with us with Anne Marie. Yes, and Johnny Hoagland. So this is going to be tomorrow. The daily trading coach, Brett Steenbarger, will be with us here tomorrow, May 16th at 11 a.m. Central Time. All right. So right now it's Central Time. If you're wondering, oh, damn, I don't know when it is. It's 10:42 Central Time right now here in Chicago. So set your clocks. This is an opportunity you're not going to want to miss. So have at it. Mindset. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you very much. As you see, Danielle put they're pinned to the top of the chat. Submit questions for Brett. So kind of him to join us. All right. Well, I got out of the house account today. Things got a little bit off sidetrack there. We missed the one long Anne Marie with the VWAP play of the day so far. Beautiful trade. Are you in something right now, Anne Marie?
I'm short from 18,598.
18,598. Thank you. We'll update the board there. Nice. Yes, D. So far so good trading wise. We got you as a P&L at up $500. Is that correct?
It's a little bit higher actually because I did another trade in my live. So it's 697 because I made 203 on top.
Okay, great. Up 697. Thank you for that, D. So update those boards as we get back to the trading. Take a look. I got out of the house account for the time being. Got 14 minutes left here on Fast Markets. Boy, are we just in buy the dip mode now? Is that basically what this market's turned into? Like we were trading, I don't know, 6 weeks ago. It was essentially just buy the dip.
Single prints, multiple single prints. That's a sign of a very strong auction. So personally, I don't like going against that until I see at least 3 TPOs printing per row. So I kind of like to give it a little bit of time to build structure before I get involved in a counter trend trade. Even though I love being a contrarian, it's like
I know.
Something's going up. You're like, oh, I just have to short it, right?
Yes.
But a good way to do it is a slightly less optimal way to do it. And for me, I want to see some structure for it before I'm like, okay, this is a short now. So, similarly, I'm looking at the energy markets. They are looking pretty bullish. It looks like there's a trend turn happening. And there are some statistical levels where traditionally I might want to get involved in a counter trend trade, but it's not time yet, because for that to happen, ideally, it needs to be after New York lunch. So there's a time of the day when there's a higher probability of that kind of a trade happening. So for me, I don't think I'm going to do anything anymore. So I'm just going to save this little bit of money that we've got today and keep building up the XFA. And so I don't think I'm going to be trading too much. So I might actually lock myself out for the day.
Oh, well, if you do it, please, let's go to her screen. If you're going to do it, we'll do it on TV here. And obviously, you're not forced to. It's up to you.
Okay.
But we'll please go over to her screen if she does hit the lock. Show everyone the lockout button. Lacey agrees. What's up, Johnny? Welcome back. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Dee's going to hit the lockout button. Show us.
There we go. Manual lockout. This is just a live. But interestingly, I actually have something similar. Okay, that's locked out now.
Wow.
And interestingly, there's a similar tool that you do have to pay for it. So it doesn't come for free, but it is a part of a risk management thing. So you can basically just go lock myself out until the next day, and you do the same thing on Ninja. So now that's both of the accounts locked up for the day.
Congratulations. Great trading. Great use of the features. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Super. All right, John. Welcome back. Great to John, I was going to do your intro. Oh, good, Johnny. I know. We got, I want to get your take here on this 18,600 level. We have nothing above this. We are, I don't want to say uncharted waters, so to speak, but for the time being, short time frame. What are we seeing up here, John? 18,603, half high of the day in the NASDAQ.
What's the deltas? What are the deltas?
Yeah, Johnny.
All right, so S&P delta is 11,400, and we've seen it as high as 14,700. The NASDAQ delta is 654 right now, positive 654, not huge. Just listening to what Deeyana was saying, I completely concur. I don't want to look for a contrary move today until we get some time up here to build some structure that I can lean on for risk. Yeah. This was a really nice move. We didn't get our pullback towards that 18,550 level in the NASDAQ that we were looking for the house account. When a market is directional, it tries to keep you out. It seems that that's the way that, that the market it makes you chase it. We didn't chase it. That's not a bad thing that we didn't chase it. Yeah, we did miss out on some good upside momentum here. Right now, I don't see any reason to sell this market. None at all. We just put in a weak high in the S&Ps and the NASDAQ. The market is.
See the whole structure thing.
Strong.
The whole structure thing, Hoag. You're the one who taught me that, and it saved my ass like so many times because I used to go like counter trend before you were. I did the market profile lab, and I used to be like, right, I've got a level. It's a little bit of a sell-off. Yes, I'm going in counter trend, and it would just smack me right across my face. And then when you started talking about structure building, and I was like, hold on, it's a better way to do that. And since then, it's been much easier to identify when might be a good time to go counter trend and when it's still a bad time to do a counter trend. Well, I love profile because of those nuances.
I'm very happy that I was able to save your ass.
Yes.
So, John, would you tell us what structure physically looks like using candlesticks and not market profile?
Good question.
Okay, so structure is time based, right? So on a 5-minute chart here in the S&Ps, let me put the one chart up here. You could say on a 5-minute chart that this is building structure, right? On a 5-minute chart. The longer the structure on the structure on a longer time frame chart is stronger. The profiles use 30-minute bars. So if we were to put a 30-minute bar up here right now on a 30-minute bar, we don't see any real structure up here. We see one time framing activity. In other words, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We put in a higher high in this one already, so we're not seeing structure. But if we start to see, 3, 4 candlesticks wide up here, that is building structure. That's building congestion. If it breaks out above it, it becomes a demand zone. If it breaks below it, it becomes supply. So what we're looking for on a 30-minute chart is for this area here to just kind of get thicker and thicker, to kind of, well, we call it, barcoding? Barcoding is structure.
Yeah.
Make sense?
It does. That's what we're looking at right now here in the NASDAQ, looking at that 5 minute, like you just said. We are barcoding around the highs of the day, which
5 minutes is a little bit too low. It's very noisy, so it can actually be a little bit of a pause depending on the time of day when it's happening before more upside. So you have to be a little bit careful. That's why I prefer to see like 15 and 30 minutes building structure first rather than just kind of going in off a 5 minute. Because what can happen in a 5 minute chart is that we sort of consolidate at the top, but you still have all of these single prints at the bottom. And single prints can be supportive. You can kind of see them as another level of micro demand intraday. That's at least the way I see them. So and I treat them the same way. So if price starts going through them and starts dipping through them, that means that we might have a single print fade on our hands, which would be congruent with a counter trend trade. But if you get a buying wick around about the same area, that's usually continuation. Then you have to take into structure into consideration. Is it a P-shaped day? If it's a P-shaped day, then counter trend trades have a lower probability of working out. Like, this is all the stuff that you should really know if you're going to be trading intraday. So rather than just going, it's barcoding, let's go counter trend, let's see the context and let's try and put all of that into context.
Excellent.
I like it. All right, let's do a quick recap around looking at some of the other markets. We've been heavily focused on NASDAQ and S&Ps. Dow trading about 60 points off its highs. Almost hit 40,000 in the Dow. It came up about 33 points short of 40,000 with a high of 39,967. Can we see 40,000 today in the Dow? A nice big fat round number. You know how markets like to go test those. Crude up a little bit, trading $78.14. High of the day, $78.37. A pullback there. We did, like we were talking about earlier, 95% long D, and they got with the momentum. Hopefully, they were able to capture some profits with such a heavy lean like that. Taking a look at gold here. Gold's seen a bit of a pullback off about $8 off the highs. Highs of the day, $23.92. Currently trading $23.84. Quick recap in the markets. Things seem to be in a bit of a holding pattern. Keep in mind, we do have Kashkari coming out speaking in 8 minutes. Kashkari speaking in 8 minutes. Not a voting member, but has been quite hawkish lately. On the
does
third
like
time
to shake things up a little bit, doesn't it?
Does like to shake things up. Sometimes the market listens, sometimes the market doesn't. Who knows? We'll see, but we'll definitely keep you in tune with those headlines. Again, Kashkari coming out in 8 minutes. Okay. Did we lose?
We lost Anne-Marie.
Lost Anne-Marie? Okay, cool. Well, the show must go on. Anne-Marie did a great trade, Nick. Bought those right off the VWAP there. Did take some heat in the NASDAQ. Said it is do or die time, and damn it, the market did. They listened to her, and hell of a long there. D as well hit the lockout button today, locked in her profits on her live account. Great to see. Using that feature, exactly what it was intended for. So, John, you and I, we did not. Yeah, great trading. Good to see you. Oh, John, I don't know if she's back in crude, by the way. She's back in trading crude.
Yeah. Dip my toes into crude. Well, I think that we actually rolled our bob a little bit early. So I tried to do like one trade and then it just started jumping all over the place, which means that it's just not properly rolled yet. And then I was like, okay, well, I've got the same sort of trading idea in crude oil. So why don't I just do that? And I did it. And then it just kind of went and that was it. Like, end of story.
Nice job.
Very well.
Yeah,
very well done. What's up, James? Did I hear James back there?
Oh,
I heard James.
It's not Lindsay. She's laying on the floor next to me now.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we got about 4 minutes left here in Fast Markets. Great Fast Market session. We are not done for the day. Let's go over the schedule. What's coming out? Boy, we are loaded today. What we do at Topstep. Don't forget, we got Brett Steenbarger tomorrow. The form is pinned to the top of the chat. Get those questions in from. It's going to be a fast hour, so everyone tune in for that. It goes by quick. Pay attention. Go back and rewatch it, as I had to do a Dr. Ginny session yesterday. So coming out today, after this, we got myself, Dolby, and Jordan S. coming back. Jordan has back-to-back weeks. He's really good. Stay tuned for that for Power Players Top Quiz with Eddie and Alyssa. Anytime Eddie is running the top quiz, controversy ensues. Let's see if that happens again today. Group coaching JD and Robert. Then we got Patience with KV. Oh, Dolby's driving for that one. It's very cool. Dolby time will be with Hoag and KV. And then we got Power Hour. Ooh, myself, Dolby, and Coach Dakota. Don't forget, we got slow markets after that. 8 p.m. Central. Coach Dakota and Jay going to be carving up those Asian markets. We got a jam-packed day. So, yeah, stay tuned with us. Eddie, I don't want any trouble in Top Quiz. You know, last time, a couple weeks ago, I mean, all hell broke loose in Top Quiz. So, although it did make for good TV, I will say that. We're going to have some fun with it. You can either laugh or you can cry after that Top Quiz. But see. All right. NASDAQ kind of floating, drifting towards the highs of the day here. Nope, just actually uptick the highs of the day.
Don't sell it yet.
Yeah, don't sell it. You can't sell this. You know what? The best trade we made today was not selling 550s and not selling 570s. That's the best trade we made all day for the house account.
Yeah,
that's right.
why,
sometimes sitting on the sidelines is a position.
100%.
Yeah, the counter trend, the short against 550, I felt like it was low probability. I mean, it may have worked for see money, take money, but once we got above it, there was long above it. We never got our pullback to it. I mean, we did on a 5-minute chart. We got a pullback right back to it if we would have got that one, but we were looking for, I think, a little bit more of a move and then a pullback.
Good stuff. Absolutely. All right, DC, you're locked out of both accounts. How will you enjoy the rest of your day? Will you still be, do you have any, will you trade the markets at all? Do you have another secret account that just in case you get the itch?
Well, it's not secret. I do have a personal account, but I mainly trade DAX in London for that one. But for the rest of the day, I'm probably going to do some DIY, some painting, decorating. I have these things on the outside of the house. They're kind of like decorative things that go under the windowsill. I don't know what they're called. There's like a weird name for them. And because it's an old Victorian house, it was like made in 1853. 3 of them fell off, and I commissioned a stonemason to make 3 new ones. So he made them, but now I have to paint them. So it's a pretty nice day today. And this is a south-facing office, so I have to wait until the afternoon so that the paint doesn't dry quickly.
Oh, no. Wow.
Yes, I lead a very interesting life. So yeah, I'm going to be a painter decorator after this.
Your house was built in 1853?
Yeah.
It's 5 years after the Chicago Board of Trade was founded.
Jeez.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So
she lives in London, not Naperville, Hoag.
So in London, you have a lot of old houses, and we effectively somebody's asking, have I moved? No, I've been here for like 18 years. I didn't move, but I'm selling this place, so we're kind of getting ready to put it up on the market. And I'm thinking of moving to West Sussex, which is like more countryside, to get more space. I mean, this house, it's only a small terraced kind of townhouse. And yet it's like, it's pretty expensive. It's gorgeous, but it's small. And I have 8 dogs. I work from home these days, so we just need a little bit more space. And I just don't really have the reason to stay in London anymore. So we made the decision this year, we're going to be moving to West Sussex. But this house, because it's so old and, for a long, long time, we didn't do anything to it. And then things just started falling apart. And then we 3 years ago, we made this decision to start doing it up, and it's still happening. So, fortunately, we're kind of coming to the end of it. It's just like,
old houses. I got one of them too.
3 years,
old houses.
man.
Just a money pit. Just a money pit.
It's horrible.
Absolutely.
At one point, my husband touched the part behind a wallpaper, and the wall just kind of fell off.
1950.
Yikes.
Well, we had to re-cement that, and we had to redo everything. So everything took so long to actually get it done, to finish everything up. But yeah, so those things outside, they were the last things that we need to be doing. But they're going to need at least 3 coats. So Dee is going to be painter decorator for the rest of the day in my little coveralls and all of that. So
Yes.
yeah, it's going to be fun.
Thank you, D. Awesome stuff. Keep us updated on how the project goes and how the move goes as well. Great training today. Way to use that lockout button. John, good stuff today. We're going to see you this afternoon, but we are a little bit tight on time. We are coming to an end. We got Power Players coming up next with Jordan. Great stuff, you two. Anne-Marie, wherever you went, great trading today.
Topstep was created from an idea born out of the trading pits in Chicago. The idea that we could provide traders education, access, experience, and capital to use in the markets. A decade later, with tens of thousands of traders in over 100 different countries, we know exactly what our traders want. That gave us another idea, to build a platform specifically for our traders and their unique needs.
Wait, a trading platform and an evaluation company in one? Does that exist?
Well, it does now.
Introducing Topstep X, the first of its kind trading platform built by and for futures traders, creating the first end-to-end ultimate trading experience. Topstep X is purpose-built for your unique needs, using over a decade of insights, customer feedback, and experience. Featuring integrated licensed trading view charts, our proprietary trading indicator, the Tilt, a built-in trade copier, our own dedicated data feed direct from the CME, and even a live stream of TopstepTV. And get this, with our extra fast connection, once you sign up, you are trading within 30 seconds. No connection instructions needed. It's web-based, so you can use it on your Mac or PC, with a dedicated mobile app for iOS and Android coming very soon. We haven't just built a trading platform. Topstep X is a fully immersive trading environment, and it will continue to evolve with new features, becoming your go-to source for trade execution and funding, education, community, support, and even entertainment. Oh yeah, never pay any commissions on Topstep X. That's right, Topstep X is the only platform in the futures industry that has no commissions. Experience the future today.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, just want to let you know that we are having a issue here with the stream, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to start a new stream. All right, so you're going to most likely have to log back in. We think it is from a Klingon mothership that has passed over our headquarters. So we're going to come back here. We're going to most likely have to log back into a new stream. So we apologize once again. We've got our text on it right now, but don't go away because we got so much cool stuff. Top quiz is coming up. Power players, folks. There's lots going on here today. So if you can, log back in again. We're going to get this done shortly. Don't forget also that we got KV. We got Coach Dakota coming on in Power Hour. JD and Robert. Robert's going to be talking about Top Step X and the tutorials. So we'll be right back. And I understand. I appreciate all the cool replies here. Yes, yeah, them damn Klingons. But what are you going to do? All right, we'll be right back. And if you do not see it, just log back in, or I should just say, just click the link again, get back in our Top Step stream, and we will continue.